All right, everybody, welcome to a very exciting edition of People's Populous Press. We have a really exciting guest here in studio today, a very controversial guest. A lot of people have a lot of different things that they think about Andy Warski. Andy Warski in studio here, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today, Andy?
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's good to have you, man. We've had you here around like the last 4 days, you know what I mean? We've been chilling, we've been hanging out, we've been making videos and stuff like this, collaborating. How have you been finding it at the place, Andy?
It's been excellent. Honestly, guys, these guys, it feels like I'm in one long PPP video. You know, you hit play and it's 3 days, 4 days, non-stop, and it's great. Like, honestly. And we've been getting lit. My voice is pretty hoarse right now, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. But it's been fun. Yeah, so just in case my voice is strained, it's been a lot of shouting for 4 days.
Been producing a lot of different videos and things like that. So I just want to get into this interview, Andy. We're kind of, for those of the audience, we're going to kind of walk through all of Andy's kind of career and life. We're going to get in depth. This is going to be a no-holds-barred interview. We're going to get into a lot of uncomfortable subjects for Andy. So everybody just be patient with him. He's promised to be as truthful as he possibly can be. So I wanted to start off, Andy. One of the first things people will notice about you is your stutter. And this is something that you've worked through your whole life. You've been working on. I had watched a video from years and years ago where you had stated that the stutter was the result of abuse at the hands of a babysitter. And there's been a lot of speculation about that. So I just wanted to give you the floor now to kind of address that and let everybody know what happened with the babysitter, how you got the stutter, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so I was probably 4 years old when I had this particular babysitter. You know, every babysitter I had at that point was nice, whatever. But this one in particular, whenever, like, it was just constant abuse. My older sister and I would always go to see her. And to my sister, she was fine. To me, she would, like, lock me in dark closets, like, smack me around. She would lock me outside on the balcony. I remember one time she had scraped on the top of my hand under a door, like slamming doors behind me and shit, throwing shit at me. Like, seriously, just getting all her hatred. Mm-hmm. Because her husband ended up being a homosexual later. Like, even he switched teams.
Wow.
Yeah, he was like, so she was probably getting all her like hatred out on me, right? As a man or whatever. I don't know. And then, so I had her for a while, and I never told my parents anything. Mm-hmm. And my sister would say some things, but it was very like, you know, they weren't in the know. Like, if they knew, it'd be fucked. And one day, we were eating, like, eggs and hot dogs or some shit, and I was talking, and she burned, like, the side of my face with a frying pan.
Okay, because that's what I was curious about, because I had heard the story that she had hit you with the frying pan, and in the video I saw, the depiction of it was like that, it was on the heater. So she took the frying pan off the heater.
Off the heater.
And held it to your face and burned you.
It had hot dogs in it.
It had hot dogs.
Like, it was still sizzling. I remember feeling the oil, like, you know? And people always joke and say it's like, oh, did she swing and, like, slam you? No, it was more like a placing of the, you know what I mean? Like,
but it was burning hot.
Like a branding type thing, yeah.
It was like a branding.
So my parents saw that. And
they saw that.
And that was the crux of, like, what the is happening over there? Yeah. Right? So that's the first, and then I forgot what I said. My parents, like pulled me out of there immediately.
Because, so before that incident, you didn't have a stutter. Your vocal development was normal for your age?
No, I think during that time at school, I was going to, like, speech pathology because my stutter was getting worse, like, during this abuse, right? Because it was like a constant abuse. There was no, like, it turned on. Mm-hmm. Like, stutter is more of a degradation of your part of your brain.
It begins to degrade over that time.
Through anxiety and all that stuff. Like, when you could control your anxiety and your, like, and your speech patterns and but, like, stutterers, a lot of them just, like, talk too fast and have high anxiety. right? Because you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
But it is due to trauma, like a psychologist or whatever thought it was through trauma or whatever, because it added up.
Okay, so you're saying you already kind of had aspects of a stutter or a delay in the vocals, and then the babysitter abuse made it worse.
I don't even remember, to be honest.
You're not sure, your parents aren't sure? Because I remember in the video that I watched from back then, you said something to the effect of you didn't realize about this abuse until you were in high school.
Yeah, it's when I had my speech pathologist in high school. So when we examined my history, right, she was trying to find the origin of it.
Mm-hmm.
So she was awesome, by the way. Like, straight up, I used to, like, if I were to read anything, it'd be stutter on every word. Like, this woman, like, saved me. But anyway, she, we ended up, like, finding out, like, through, like, the history. She's like, yeah, this is a thing that happens. A trauma will affect this part of the brain, which will add a stutter. And then you being embarrassed by it just increases it. It's just, like, a never exponentially, like, stuttering sucks. Like, it really is insane. Because you think about it, oh, you can't talk, it's a joke, it's a meme. But the person has to live with, like, looking like a all the time. Like, people thought in high school, okay, whatever, I'm going to say this, it'll be, like, memed. But people thought, like, for the first year and a half, like, I was, like, actually... Like,
really?
one guy in school, he's like, you know, when I started being funny and joking around, he found out about the stutter. He's like, oh, you're funny. But I used to do, like, all these stuff, like, jackass-style, like, pranks.
Right on.
Like, I would just take off my clothes in high school, and it's, like, snowing outside, and just do snow angels in the snow in front of everyone. They have no idea who I am, and then I'm just, like, stuttering. They think I'm, like, a f***ing like, you know, off the leash, running around. He's like, Andy, I don't want to be, like, a dick or anything, but I thought you were, like, Down syndromic type. You're part of, like, the PIP class, you know, like, the PIP, which is, like,
the special class or whatever, right?
And I was like, whoa, buddy.
Okay, so you didn't really remember this stuff too clearly until it was brought up with the speech therapist and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that pretty much clears it up for people. As to what happened there with the stutter. A lot of people, and you've been telling pretty much the same story about it for years and years now. So I'll move on to something else. So you go through and you have this stutter, you have delays in your speech development or degradation in your speech development. So it's interesting that you ended up going into comedy, right? You end up going into stand-up comedy. What was the reasoning behind that? What were you looking? Were you looking to expand your skills, or what were you looking to do with that? Because it's interesting.
I remember it was painful. Having a stutter and everyone making fun of you was crazy, right? It really wears on your psyche. But I really enjoyed making people laugh. Like, I enjoyed making, like, and I was filming jackass stunts. And I would film them on VHS tapes. And the reason is, it's because it's funny and I don't have to talk. It's just me, like, dude, I used to do crazy shit. Like go in a garbage can, like, take out the like, the bag and head inside and down, like, dangerous hills in Mississauga. It was called Devil's Hill. One of the falls, it ended up smashing into a tree, into a ditch, but the metal had bent from hitting the tree, and I was trapped in there for, like, 45 minutes, and they're filming me laughing. Like, it was shit like that. And we would, like, head down, like, GTs, you know, like the sleds, and, like naked or, like, in boxers, and then throwing, like a Christmas trees on people as they head off a ramp. It was, like, videos, like, hours and hours of content. In fact, I think I have one of the VHSs. If you want Kino, bro, me just being a in the streets. Like pulling crimes, basically. You know, nothing crazy, but you know what I mean. Just being a fucking jackass. And then these VHSs were being passed around. They were being passed around the school. So I was known, like, before YouTube was even a thing. It was like, oh, yo, it's Andy. Like, everyone watched all the VHSs. Like, hundreds of passes on the same 4 episodes. And it was, like, marker, like, crude. Yeah. And it was, like, an honor system. People actually returned it, like, groups of people. So I was known. And I did skits, actually, in the school, too. Like, I had this character called Sanchez, where I was like a Mexican, and it was like a racist, like, but I would interview teachers and shit and film it and release it around, and I was known for this, like, I was actually voted, like, most likely to be on SNL type thing in my graduation.
But it's interesting, right? You're talking to the teachers, you know, you're doing this racist character. You know, today that really wouldn't fly.
No, dude, like, this shit I got away with, and sexist, hardcore. And then I was really into stand-up. I like Dave Chappelle at the time. Like, For What It's Worth was the special. I was high as drinking. And I'm like, I want to do stand-up. So what I thought in my head is, like, I still had a stutter, but I was doing speech pathology during third period on Fridays, every day, in grade 10 and 11 and 12, right? So at grade 11, I was like, I don't stutter as much as I used to. Before it was every word. Now it's like, so I'll go onto stage and make fun of my stutter because it's funny. So I'd go up there, and I killed for my first few months. There were some duds here and there, but like for like an intro stand-up, it was good. Mm-hmm. And I was doing it all the time. Like, stand-up was great. But the money is like, you're doing it for drink tickets. I did one, like, the biggest special I ever did was called The Truth Really Hurts.
Okay.
I did it in the University of Toronto. I straight up have, like, after my channel was erased, I lost a bunch of footage that was there. Dude, my heart, you know, I lost that stand-up, but I did like a 45-minute special that was like, it was like, the jokes were intense. But people laughed, and it was like a special, like, it was great. But then YouTube crept in. That's when I started doing YouTube.
Because I was going to ask you next, like, when did you decide? So how long were you doing the stand-up for to begin with?
I did it for 10 years in total.
10 years.
Never like professionally. Like never like, you know.
You made your living from it, right?
It was sort of like, every week head out there, and I'd try to do 2 or 3 clubs a week. And then I've some months break and stuff in between these periods of doing this. But what I would do is, I started on YouTube. This is during like the old school era, right? I would make videos that were like rants. And I would sneak in stand-up jokes into those rants. And then anything that the commenters on the YouTube videos liked would be in the set.
Next routine.
Right? That's what I did there. And it was great. Like, there were some great moments. The highs are high in stand-up.
Yeah.
The lows. When there's a room full of people who hate you. On YouTube, it's one thing.
Well, do you remember any sort of story where you were doing stand-up and you got a negative reaction? Did you ever get a bottle thrown at your head or somebody attack you or anything like that?
There's one moment where, okay, I'm trashed. And I, like, walk on stage with just new material, which you never do. You always sneak in the jokes, you know, that will work. And then you introduce new material, and if it's good, next time you bring it in all the time. I went in there just to be as sexist as humanly possible. Like, I was like, the jokes, and I was trashed on Sambuca, and I was saying things like women are fucking useless. I'm like you're good for nothing, and they're all like it was not even a punchline. And I remember being like, oh wait, women, there is one good thing you're good at. And I just turn around and like pretend to suck my own dick, and women are like, what the f*** you? Like, they were going nuts, and I'm just taking shots. Like, I had like a few shots on the stool, and I'm drinking beer, and I'm just laughing, pointing, like, get in the kid. Like, it was just the most generic, offensive, like sexist shit. And women were about to like go on stage. Like, I was like, I had to leave early. Like, it was a bad one, dude.
Okay.
I had 2 friends with me. They're like, we have to get the f out of here. No, dude, we're not sticking around. We're gonna get like.
So we get into now. You're making YouTube videos, and a lot of people, you know, want to know a bit more about the early days of your channel because a lot of the material is gone. What sort of material were you making in those early years before everything kind of blew up and you became known for the SJW videos and things like this?
Yeah.
What was the channel like before then? Were you trying out different styles or what was going on?
Yeah, so we did like a lot of skits and comedy and all that stuff, and it was like rants or whatever. So it would be like on today's episode, long lines, taxis, and whatever. And it's like sort of I watched a lot of Adam Carolla, and I really liked his like rant on anything type idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of like had that, and I was good at ranting. I still am, I think. So it'd be like just like almost like a skit monologue type thing. But I really prided myself on doing them all in one take. Like I was like, you know, if I ever fuck up a take, I'd be like 6.5 minutes in, start it over. Like, and I would have the point form of all the jokes or the ideas, and I would do it, and I would do it like for like 4 hours until like the 9 minutes. So if you saw one take, you could be like, oh, that was pretty lazy of him. No. That's me redoing it. It was like stand-up, right? And then I did the easier, like reactionary to prank channels. I watched H3 and I saw the whole prank invasion thing. It's the guy who kisses like random chicks on the street, and it's fake. So I'd make videos like shitting on those, like just me watching it, and that's where I sort of got like that live aspect, right?
Right.
Then me and Chris one day during this whole time, so this is 2015, all right?
Right.
So I'm doing this for like years and years. It's just random skits, random shit. Then one day, Trump, sorry, before that, Black Lives Matter. I wasn't a political dude at all. When Black Lives Matter started pulling their nonsense, I went like actually, like, you know, some people grift and they just keep like belting at it.
Yeah.
Or people were sort of like just joining in to get the views. I was like, we need to stop these people. This needs to stop. I remember even Chris being like, Chris Warski used to work with me, him trying to like move like aside from that topic sometimes. And I'd be like, no, look what they did. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That was like the political angle. And then when Trump won, that stamped my channel's like fate. The seal, because he won, we made a video, and we got like 700,000 views in 2 days. Blew the up. Money, views. Like, it has to be politics now, right? And then I got into politics. I really did. And I am passionate about it.
Because before then, like going through high school, you know, even college, that sort of thing, you were never political. You were never really into politics in a serious way.
Zero. In fact,
zero interest.
In college, I went to college. One of my like tries at college was journalism. Mm-hmm. I went up in St. Catharines, right? So I'm doing this at Niagara College, and I remember being at like a political class. I didn't even know what liberal and conservative was. No difference, like no understanding. It was just like George Bush conservative. Like it was like the most like simple, basic like knowledge of it. And I didn't care at that time at all. And now the reason I got more serious about it, and this will go into like the whole JF show and
yeah, we're gonna bring into that in a minute. But
I actually, when I started hearing this stuff, like the anti-SJW stuff got tiresome after a while. But like the political portion of it, like it's really impacting our world right now. Mm-hmm. And I remember actually feeling like this is crazy. This is nuts. Like shit's not going well. Like the world is not working. And that's when, you know, I don't know where you want me to go on this one because this is like the Warski Live era, you know?
Yeah, so I'll bring it back towards kind of the beginning because I just wanted to, you know, touch on this early era just a little bit more. We did already kind of a stream on Dark Fist, but I wanted to ask you, you know, were you proud of that movie? Were you proud of Dark Fist and the work you put in on it?
I love that. Like, honestly, making a movie was always, like, on the bucket list. And I really thought I could do it. And I did it with Dark Fist. Like, we watched it. It's funny. It's campy, right? Yeah. The next movie was, like, seriously, I know we watched the trailer. Like, you found it. But it's been, like, destroyed. Like, the
Mr. M.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, because you asked me to bring this up. You said to ask you about Theo.
We got this actor from New York, right? He's huge. Like, he was a tank from... amazing actor. But the most oddest interactions with this guy, okay? So, one day, like, I'm walking in the backyard. Everyone's like smoking in the back or whatever, chilling, eating some food. And one day, he's just telling everyone. He's like, "Oh, you ever come on a cat before? You ever come like?" And everyone was like just sick. And he's like, "What? You haven't?" Like, he's like angry, and he's like a little bit buzzed. I think like he was on something. But like I remember being like, "What the?" He ends up staying at my house, right? Because I fly him in, and it's at my parents' house because I already paid him like $2,000 to be in the movie. He ends up like not showering for 4 days. He comes in while we're all smoking ciggies in the garage. He's like, "Yo, where's the shower, dude?" I'm like, "You know where it is." He's like, "No." I'm like, and everyone's like, "It's been 4 days. Like, what the?" He comes out of the shower. He's got the shower handle, like the like the water in his hand. And the towel rack, like, he came out like, "Yo, Andy, what do I do?" And then the shower is running. We had to, like, my mom had to take a wrench and, like turn it off. But he was a hard actor to work with. But he was, like, brilliant. Like, it was almost, like, worth it. Then the movie was, like, everyone just fought and stuff. There was so much drama and all this shit behind it. So I stopped making movies because it's a lot of work. It's too hard. It's too hard.
A lot of people really liked the performance of the Smile character, the actor who plays him in the film, Mike. Did Mike ever end up doing any sort of acting after that, or was that kind of it for Mike?
Well, he was in Mr. M as well, and he was like a great character there as well. And I know he was writing scripts and stuff. He's doing something else now, but he is writing. Like, he's a good writer. He's written some scripts that are like brilliant.
Really?
But I would never like talk about the idea because they are like crazy. He's a smart dude, great guy. Like I would say one of the most creative people I've ever worked with. Like his script writing and his skills. He wrote half of Dark Fist.
Really?
So I wrote Dark Fist. I wrote the whole movie. And he added more of like the serious moments in the script that we watched. I was a lot of the funny parts and like the development of the story. And Smile in the original script had no lines.
Really? So he put those in?
Or
was it improv? What was it?
He put them in. He's like, "No, if I'm going to play this character, I want to have more lines." So he put in some lines. I was thinking more like a brute thug. Like, you saw the character?
Yeah.
It's like a brute fucking, like, you know, almost like a pet. But he became the fucking main villain. Like,
yeah.
But he was so brilliant. I remember that part in the movie where he does like this whole monologue about like putting like a hook in someone's brain and dragging them around and how like they won't die, but they'll feel every inch of pain.
Yeah.
And then he puts a cigarette out on his tongue. Like, that was just hit record and film the dude.
And he just went.
It's so good. It's so good.
A lot of people, including myself, were very impressed by it because when you compare it to other amateur productions of the time, Doug Walker's movies or James Rolfe or any of those internet guys' movies at the time, the production value was way higher on way less of a budget with better acting. And so I was quite impressed. And, you know, I just wanted to ask two more questions on this. How involved was Chris Warski with the script?
Nah, he not at all with the script. But Chris Warski was great at, like, the production. So, like, we need this, and this. He's, like, setting it up. You know what I mean? He's already texting people. He's figuring it out. He's emailing. He was, you know, like pure producer, I would say, like awesome. As for the creative portion, almost nil. Like, he liked my ideas. He liked Mike's ideas too, and he was just down for whatever. But as for the analytical part of it, he was brilliant. Like, seriously, good dude. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this because you've told me that nearly everybody involved in the production of Dark Fist has disavowed the movie.
Yeah.
Do you think?
I mean, like, how do you disavow Dark Fist?
Well, that's
you
what
know?
I was going to ask you. Do you think it's fair that they've disavowed this movie?
Yeah, this is some sort. Yeah, I don't think it's fair because, you know, at that time, that's the comedy, and they have disavowed the slurs and the, you know, the edgy humor or whatever. And I still do edgy humor, so they could disavow and go, at the time, they were making up all these, you know, they were saying it. They loved it. They thought it was the funniest shit ever. And them turning around, you know what type of movie we were making. Mm-hmm. And it's those, you know, that time's comedy was there.
Yeah.
And I still think it's funny. For me, it's like, I'm cool with it.
It was like a more crass, crude kind of, you know, like it's a guy movie, you know, a guy comedy movie, you know, sort of thing. Seems to have gone out of fashion today, you know. But it was always kind of your core personality, the way you were. You wanted to be making funny, comedic stuff. You know what I mean? You were never about, I want to be a prime minister. I want to be a member of parliament. I want to be a hard-hitting investigative journalist. That wasn't the Andy Warski dream, right?
No, I wanted to make, like, good videos, like, good, entertaining stuff that I can go back and watch it myself and be proud of. The anti-SJW content really, like, drained my energy, though. I won't lie.
Yeah.
It was really draining. And it was so boring, and the, you know, I don't know. Like, even if the views were amazing, it would still be like, okay, what am I going to look forward to shit on right now, you know?
I was going to ask you, like, what part of your YouTube career do you consider to be the most successful?
I would say, when I was doing the anti-SJW videos right before they came out of style or out of fashion.
That was the biggest commercial success.
Like 200,000 views per video in like within a few days, like that type of stuff, and it was really good. I would say though the Warski live days were really fun.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask because that was the follow up. What was the most fun time? Okay, we're talking about the Warski live. Like well, during your entire YouTube career, what was the most fun time? What was the most fun era where you were the happiest? You were really enjoying yourself, you know?
You know the expose of Kilroy?
Yep.
The Krautfall, the JF entering, the Jeff Holiday. Those streams, and Medicare was there. I was on Kumite every morning. It was like hopping at that time. Like, those days were really fun.
Those were the most
They were like those, wake up ready for Kumite, like pumped. Like, all right, JF, let's do a stream. It's just like this blood sports. Mm-hmm. It's where I met Ralph too, right? And like, it was such a good time. It's a shame that, you know, I started doing drugs because it was fun at first and it helped me. It did. Doing coke, right?
Right.
Because you're staying up and you could do all these long shows. And, you know, during that era is when I started really doing it. And it's a shame I got into that because, like, you know, I don't regret too much, but I do regret, like, if I wasn't fucked up and, like, a spurg and a crazy asshole, like, what could have I done after, like, the Warski live days if I wasn't just out of my head?
You know,
the IRL stuff was not a good transition. Like, that stuff was definitely, like, compared to anything I had done. But I also lost my creative streak at that time too. When I made it back, I tried a few comebacks, right? And it was just like the energy wasn't there. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Everything was just like, there was no direction. There was nothing. And I kept, like, returning, doing something, and then quitting. So like, I had, like, 5.
Yeah. Before we get into all that, because we have lots of time to go over all that stuff.
For sure.
Let's wrap up kind of with Chris and this era. So we have a few questions that people have submitted about the era with Chris Warski. How did you first meet and partner with Chris? How did that come to be?
It was like a friend of a friend type thing. Hang out, smoke some joints and shit.
Like from real life, he wasn't like internet guy or anything.
IRL.
Yeah.
Cool dude. And then we hung out. And then I guess he was telling me, I remember one day we'd always like meet at this spot and smoke with a bunch of us, right? And one day he's telling me about this like skit idea he had. And I was like, I have a YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. So he went out and checked it, right, before we had phones to do that shit. And he's like, oh, yeah, we should work on some stuff. So we just started on, like, one skit between all my videos. I would do like 20 videos, 20 rant videos, and one would be with Chris. And these are skits I wish that were still online. Like, dude, it upsets me. But we did like Asian Friends.
Asian Friends
was the first skit that we did that like blew up. I think it was one of the first things we did. It was called Asian Friends. If someone finds it, like, Kino. So, and it was like all the racial humor and all that stuff. It was actually a really funny skit. And we did that. And then we ended up moving in together after a few skits and all this stuff, right? And that was during the BLM era. And he had a good DSLR camera or whatever. So I was like, look, if you help me produce these, I'll split the money with you.
Right on.
And I did, right? So he would film them and shit. So, yeah. And then we started the Warski Live before the known Warski Live.
Yes.
We did 120 episodes.
Wow.
2 or 3 a week. And we'd have on a new anti-SJW on every show.
And so that's kind of how you started networking, because you see those charts, you know, linking the alt-right together or whatever. You would always be at, like, the middle of them, like the skeptic or alt-right.
I was the biggest
You would
ball.
be like the big hub, right? So even back then you were networking in that way, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to ask you, because, you know, a lot of people have their own ideas about this already, but we want to give you the opportunity. Tell us what really happened in the breakup with Chris. Why did it go south? What happened?
So he was fixing his like house or something, like you know, like helping out, and so he was helping out with that, like a renovation type thing. So he's like, I'll be busy for a few months. I'm like, okay, whatever, like that's cool. So during that time is when the Kilroy stuff started. Okay? But then Chris wasn't like helping out for like, it was like 6 months. It was almost a year. And I already had been doing Warski Live at this time. I was doing all this other stuff. Like, I've moved on, right? Because it was like a year. What am I going to do? Sit here for a year not doing anything while you're doing the house and you're making money off of it? Like, sorry, bud. And so it was almost like he was out. But like there was no quitting or anything. It was like one day, hey, I'm going to be taking a break. Cool. I'll be doing a show here.
Yeah.
And he did take offense at the content. You know, like I remember us having a fight of him going, you ruined it. You know, you like joined like those guys and it's like all this right-wing stuff and it's fuck the channel. I remember having that fight. He did yell about that. But it was like, fuck you. I mean, you're gone. I've already evolved. Like, I'm not waiting here for you. Like, it was sort of like that type of like arrangement, you know? And, but it turns out, like, after, like, a year, and I had texts. I remember doing a stream, and I showed the texts on stream, like, I was scrolling through them. But he had his car payments attached to the, what's it called? The business account.
Oh.
So, like, his car payments are coming out. I'm pretty sure he had insurance. It ended up being $5,000.
$5,000.
So it was like 5 G's. It's like I'm working my ass off, like doing shows and shit, like trying to keep it going, like trying anything, you know. And he's doing his own thing, and he's taking money from me. Mm-hmm. So I remember being like, "Dude, that's up. Like you have to pay me back. Like sorry, like I don't care." And he's like, it was almost like an entitlement for him. Like, oh, I had helped you until this point, so I deserve this. It's like,
was he paid before then?
Yeah, of course. It's split. Like every time we had a YouTube check from our stuff, it was a split. It was when he was gone. No offense. Now all this money that I'm making is from what I'm working on, and it's like you could help me. Like I wanted him to help me. I didn't want it to end. It was just him gone for a year, and I guess when he phoned me during the $5,000 discussion, that's when he was like, "You ruined this channel, like this right-wing Nazi shit. Like you, it's your fault. It's your fault.
Now,
your fault." Like he went nuts.
Right-wing Nazi stuff. So I'm just trying to take it back. So when he says, like, I'm going to go work on the house, do you think he was really about working on the house? Or was it more so even at that time he was upset with the direction you were taking, a more political direction?
I genuinely think that he was working on the house. Like, because I would go by every now and then, you know. I was trying to keep, you know, I would see him every now and then. Him and his girlfriend would stop by. But I do think the reason he took the break was that was the time where the anti-SJW stuff, like...
It was oversaturated.
It was oversaturated. The well was dry.
Yeah.
It was boring as to do every video. No matter how easy the edits were, it's just like this, like, oh my God, you know, like, it's like, whatever, you know, like, talking about it on a show is one thing.
Yeah.
But editing it back and forth, it's like this, like, it is tiring.
So I'd ask this.
So I think that's what he left.
When was the first time he brought up to you, I think you're going in all, like, too far right. I think you're going to the dark side. You've gone to, like, did he bring this up continually, or did it just came out of the blue?
It was that
over
was
the $5,000. He never mentioned it before the $5,000.
The $5,000 was the crux of, like, opening up this argument, and he admitted, like, he goes, "Yeah, okay, I did take the money." Oh my God, you know what he says? He goes, like, you took the money, like, you didn't even work for it. He goes, but you had to learn. Like, that was like...
What did he mean by that?
I don't know, like, maybe I wasn't aware of the business account as much as possible, so he was, like, seeping money so I could learn a lesson.
Teaching you a lesson not to trust people?
Well,
wasn't he supposed to be your very good friend?
He tried exposing me on, like, a stream, and that's why I did a stream where I showed the text messages and everything, and then he shut up for, like a year or 2 years.
But you're saying, like, during this whole time... Up until the public dispute and breakup and all that, he had no issues with the association with JF. He never mentioned this.
No, in fact, we had a phone call in these months where he was like, you know, like, oh, you're doing so well, like, so many viewers. Mm-hmm. Like, he was, like, pumped. I'm like, well, we're making, like, some good donations to, like, It's Alive. It was like, yeah, cool. It was when the JF stuff split up and it didn't work out, is when he's like, oh, you know, like, it's so racist. If the channel had been doing still well, he would never have been angry. Guarantee you.
Because how political was he? Was he ever a very political guy, or was he just kind of like you, where he wanted to just do comedy and stuff like this?
Well, yeah, I would say that. Like, he did share the thoughts on the anti-SJWs. Mm-hmm. However, he was more like a libertarian. Yeah. So we tried making a comeback. I don't know if you remember this, where we had him, like, trapped in a fridge.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then he walks into the room, and the joke was what we've been talking about for this year. My dual had the Nazi flag on it.
Oh.
And then I'm like, oh, look at the studio here. I'm like, yeah, keep looking there. And I'm changing the background. You know, it was like a joke. Like,
yeah.
But
he didn't have an issue with that, invoking the Nazi imagery. He didn't.
No, he thought it's
he
funny.
He didn't say this is too far or anything like that.
He knew
because
the joke.
A lot of people, the way they look at Chris is they look at him as this moderate, normal influence. Your in real life friend. He would have tried to pull you back from the alt-right, but you were seduced away from it, and you betrayed him by going in that direction. But what you're saying is he was never really making any sort of effort to pull you back from that until it was an issue of money, and then it was to make you look bad regarding your politics.
Probably. I mean, the series of events that happened with him, like, are so extreme that it's hard to even place what happened. You know? And it's like, okay, if you want to move on, but don't cry like a bitch on the phone to me and say I'm a piece of shit when you've been stealing money from me.
Did he ever pay you back the $5,000? Yes. He did pay you.
Him and his father. His father was like a witness to him handing me a check. And I brought the check to the bank and it caught it back. Okay. So he paid me back the $5,000. Yeah.
Okay, but was it a big battle to get it done, to get the money, or was it was just kind of a misunderstanding, or was he actually intending to steal from you? What do you think?
Well, it might have been, maybe it was just like a little bit of misunderstanding and entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
But when I brought it up, instead of being like, okay, that's right, I'm sorry, I didn't take my car off the business account or whatever the right?
Yeah.
It was, I was trying to teach you a lesson. So it's like, he knows I'm in the right because he paid me the $5,000. He knows I'm in the right. But he has to make a big deal about it and make it a big, like, holy shit. And he'll come out and he tried lying about the story. Thank God I had those text messages. It's like, just move on, buddy.
So from that time on, was he your friend anymore?
No.
No.
Nah, that was for sure I've seen, like, you know, the group of friends that we share. I saw him a few times and we never talked. We never interacted. We were at like a friend's house and he's there. We nodded at each other. I think we shook each other's hand. I walked up and I was just like nod, shake hand.
You guys,
and then you move on and sort of like.
You guys were friends for how many years?
Almost a decade.
Almost a decade that you guys.
It's a shame.
Friends. And you guys haven't spoken a long time, I imagine.
Never, not at all. Except for that nod at our friend's house, at our mutual friend's house. It was just like a, what's up?
You know where he's at now? What he's doing?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. I don't follow.
One more question people wanted to know. Was it true that you wouldn't give Chris his glasses back?
Glasses back?
That you had stolen his glasses and you wouldn't give them back.
I don't remember that, no.
You don't remember it at all?
His glasses?
Yeah, it's like a big drama about that you stole his glasses or whatever.
I remember him losing glasses. Maybe he was accusing me of stealing glasses, but I didn't steal. Why would I?
You don't even
pick it up. I don't give a. That's not even. That's not funny. That's not like worth anything to me. Like, I don't even remember what this is.
Okay.
Maybe he lost some and think I stole them. There is something I remember with the glasses, but I didn't steal glasses because that's kind of insane, you know?
I'm not super familiar with that myself,
I don't know.
But it was a fan-submitted question about the glasses.
There was something with the glasses. I think he lost glasses, and he was trying to call me out on it. And I'm like, why the f*** would I steal your glasses? Like, come pick them up if they're here. I remember saying, come, like, search the whole house. You have full access to the house. You could look under every bed. You could look behind everything. Why would I steal your glasses? That's kind of nuts. Like, that accusation is gay.
So let's move on to Jean-Francois Garapi. Why did you make JF a co-host? What was the reasoning? Why you made him the co-host of Warski Live?
You know, I thought at this point is when the politics started, like, you know, okay, the Kilroy thing, they were shitting on the alt-right people. Now, this is how I talked to Baked Alaska first, was he was kicked out of Kilroy to be a speaker. It was like a convention where you speak. So I had him on my show, and I went, if we're doing a free speech convention, like, and you're banning people from talking, that's kind of insane. Yeah. But this is where it's almost like black-pilled me into like this is ridiculous. And then I find out, and this is more of a selfish reason, I find out everyone's being paid hotel and flights and shit, and I'm not. I'm like, bro. And I was like the biggest person who's going to be there. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, I think it was, remember, what's her name? Big Tits?
Oh, what was her name? Mama?
Based Mama. Oh, you know, Andy, you should just asked us. I'm like, I was just trusting that you were like
the biggest scam of all time, wasn't it, Kilroy?
It was Monday night out there reading.
It was just Jarbo at like empty tables. There was nobody there but Matt Jarbo. Oh shit!
That was a funny clip.
What a disaster, you know.
So that was what the like, yo, and then JF was there for those streams, and we just got along. So I'm getting interested in the politics, in the right-wing politics, like the right-wing politics. Just interested. If you don't want to have a discussion, and I was so for free speech that it's like, no, the fact that you're banning all these people, now I want to talk to them. Like, if we're for free speech, you pick a lane. So I bring in JF, and JF was just so knowledgeable about all this right-wing stuff that it was just natural for him to be co-host during my discovery period.
But when you guys first met up, you had a natural chemistry.
Mm.
You did, eh?
He was, I mean, we had some funny moments, like some good streams. Like, he was cool. Like, you know, it's a shame what happened. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a shame. I wish we had ended, at least be like, okay, we've done our part.
Yeah, well, I'd ask you this. Do you think it was successful? Was it a successful partnership?
It was successful. It was. I think he would say that too. The downfall was, so during this time I'm doing drugs still, right? Getting a little loopy. I also enjoy the fun streams. So Kumate's more in my like wheelhouse. But I enjoy doing the streams with JF. But then he would always like try to like undermine me.
Yeah.
You know, like famous stop with your low IQ interventions.
Yeah, did it bother you? He was saying you're an idiot and low IQ. Was it bothering you?
Because he would do it minimally, and I would make fun of him too about being pretentious or French or some shit. It was fine. But then it became like a bit too much. And then he started interrupting me a lot. And then I would have an idea for a guest of a show. And then he's like, no, he's not going to be on here. He did not want Ralph on.
Really?
He was not a Ralph. Yeah. Like, in fact, he kicked Ralph off.
What was the reason he gave?
We're looking for high intellect shows, and we're going to look for people for debates and stuff. He's just your friend. You know, don't be on Kumite because it's just silly. It's like the trash. I get it if you, what you're doing is more high intellect, of course. Sure, because it is. But people enjoy the scummy, edgy shows too.
Did he recognize that as well? Did he?
I don't think he did.
No way.
I think he was really just like, how could anyone watch these shows? It's like, I don't know. It's just like a show you put on in the background while you're playing video games. Like, what do you want, JF? This is not a school. So I ended up, remember being like, if he ever interrupts me, I'm going to like come back. Like, I'm going to say something. I was on a phone call with Tonka, Geek Thulu, Failure, maybe somebody else. But I remember Tonka. I remember we ended up exposing Tonka for this. Tonka was like, tell JF him and all this shit. Like, but the way Tonka convinced it, he was right. Like, Tonka was right in this moment, 100%. He's like, stand up for yourself. I'm like, I respect that, right? So in that show, he said something like demeaning, and I went, you know what, JF, like enough, buddy, enough. Mm-hmm. And he's like, okay, you know what? I quit. Like, he quit before I could fire him.
Wow.
Like, he quit, like, just for me questioning what he was doing. And it was like, off, buddy, you know?
So would you say that it was the undermining, the comments on the air and things like that were the main reason behind the breakup?
Yes.
Or was it more like Tonka was in your ear and
no,
other people were in your ear?
The Tonka thing was like you know what? I've been feeling this for like 6 months. Yes. Because it was like just too much. Mm-hmm. And Tonka was like, well, if you feel like that, man, just tell him to go eat it. And then I didn't even go that far. Mm-hmm. I just said, you know, man, like I was trying, I sugar-coated it and, you know, peppered it. I wasn't trying to end the show.
Yeah.
I was just like, maybe I could say something that will like make him realize this is too far. Mm-hmm. You know, just disrespect. And, okay, I quit, you know what? And then he moved on and did his own thing.
Looking back on it, hindsight being 2020, do you think if you had managed to swallow your pride on it, that things would have worked out better in the end? If you and JF had kept working together, or was it destined to fail?
The show was spiraling already.
It was destined to fail, you're saying?
You know what? People do say it's like the biggest thing I ever done or whatever. Yeah, there was like 10 streams that were like 10,000 watching and legendary views. The majority of the views were like 300-400 of like the regular show or whatever. It was only when we had like a special guest on. So it's not like it was like this like beast of a show. There was just beast episodes within there. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, if me and him couldn't do a show with just me and him and not anyone else, and it just won't work out, it was destined to fail from the beginning.
Yeah.
And when we like stopped doing debates, it's because people got scared. It was hard to get people after a while to do blood sports because they're like, they've seen the show, they know what we do. You toss them to the lions.
Yeah.
So finding a guest, they're like, I don't want to do blood sports, right? So, yeah.
There was a limited shelf life for it anyway, you're saying. So it wouldn't have mattered if you kept going with JF, even if you guys were still together today.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, it ended, and he went on with his show. I think it was The Public Space.
Yeah.
But because it was still within that wheelhouse of like politics and talking to people, interviewing and stuff, he was fine.
It was initially more successful.
Yes, yeah. And for me, it was a terrible time because I didn't want to like do the politics thing as the main crux of my show. I'm not good at it, I don't think. I have some good takes here and there, but like as the host of that type of show, no. So the only viewers who would still be around would be ones interested in that topic. Mm-hmm. So even if I tried to do it, I would have been lost. I did some cool shit. That Warski was like a 2-episode, like an HBO type show. Like that was fun. I returned. I tried coming back a few times, and it was just like, nothing's working. Life was terrible at this moment. I was breaking up with my ex. Shit was dark. Mm-hmm. The drugs had taken hold of me. JF had left. It was over. Yeah. Like, guys, it was... You don't understand that fear of like... I'm sure you can. Some people can. But the fear of, it's done. Like, what the... So I was like, I'll do IRL. The IRL was okay, you know what? Fine. I'll go out there with Keemstar Donos and DuckTales playing. And I went to the States. I went to live with Ralph at this point. Yeah.
We'll touch a little bit more on JF, and then we'll move on.
Is it cool if I grab another beer, actually?
Yeah. Okay, Andy, so we're back at it here. Now, when it comes to the era with JF and Warski Live, do you feel like you provided a microphone to the alt-right or the dissident right? Do you feel like you gave them a big platform at that time? That they wouldn't have got the exposure otherwise?
I do. I do think it made a dent into them. The alt-right, the Wignat, like that was for sure one of the first sparks, I would say. If you look at the connections, we talked about this earlier, the connections with the alt-right, my name was the biggest. And it's not to say that I was an alt-righter, especially at that time. It was to say that I just connected a lot of them. Like the show did, and this is back before YouTube was crazy with their censorship. So you were able to get super chats that went like, 1488 and, the 14 words and shit, Mm-hmm. So YouTube allowed this. So it was like the place where everyone congregated in that, on the far right. It made an impact for sure.
Now, do you have any regrets, though, about how deep into the politics you got at that time? Like, did you fully understand at that time what it would mean to be associated with the alt-right, to be a dissident right figure?
No, I thought it was interesting. And for me, I couldn't comprehend at that time. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. But at the time, you go, oh, well, like, why would people be, like upset about this? Mm-hmm. You could say racist jokes. You could make fun of gay people at this time. Yeah. All you want. So the alt-right thing and, like, the JQ and, the Jewish, all that stuff, that, and white ethno-states talk. Mm-hmm. To me, it was like, oh, we're having an edgy political discussion, a hypothetical, what if? Mm-hmm. That's what it was to me. I didn't think, because at that time too, it wasn't like you weren't canceled for that. Mm-hmm. Like that created the cancellations, like the era of cancellations. They had to shut it down, and they did.
Yeah, you kind of thought it was more of a comedic thing at first. So when did you start to realize that this was real? Like the people were serious about this, and other people, not only the alt-right was serious about their ideas, but other people were really serious in the way they would react to that. Like, when did you realize what you had kind of signed up for, because you didn't know at first, right?
No, in fact, my main principle in this wasn't to like, you know, specifically like to put a mic on the alt-right. It was mainly a thing for free speech. Like free speech, it was sort of like an example. Mm-hmm. Like, listen, you can't use the words free speech and not allow the alt-right to talk. So it was almost like I'm going to do all these alt-right shows with JF and shit, and we're going to talk with these people specifically because you guys keep using the word free speech. If you think about it too, after that era, the word free speech, like no one really uses that anymore. Now it's like, oh, censorship and this and that. But no one uses the word free speech because they want to specifically target.
What the left will say, Andy, about this is they'll say, well, the alt-right shouldn't be platformed. They shouldn't be given a voice because if they're given a voice, they'll take everybody else's voice away. What do you think of that? Do you think the risk is justified in allowing them a platform, or do you think they shouldn't be given a platform?
Well, we're at the phase now in our media and our society where they've won. They've taken over. So it's like, you could say I'm a hypocrite for saying we have to deplatform them, but it would only be for damage control. We've lost the plot. Like, and people get mad at me sometimes in my chat. Or they'll be like, oh, this is too black-pilled. And I'm like, look, I don't mean to be the guy, like the fucking doomer, but it's so I don't want them to be deplatformed in the same vein as me wanting free speech. But at the same time, it's like, to me, this battle doesn't even matter. So yeah, I would want to f them, but it's done. Like there's no point in even trying.
Well, do you feel, and this is, and we'll move on, but do you feel like you missed any opportunities because of this? That if you hadn't gone down the path with JF and with Warski Live and platforming Richard Spencer, do you think that your life would be significantly different?
It would be different on 100%. That's not even like a question. It would be more of a question if I regret it.
Do you?
You know, sometimes, you know, you look at the possibilities, but the grass is always greener. Yeah. I could have been even way worse off. I could have been in a fucking ditch.
Yeah.
I could have been, what if I was like super liberal and I never went down that path and got hooked on coke and never hooked up with Ralph and then with Failure and Alex and did all that stuff which helped me get off coke. What if I was on the left and I just like OD'd or something? Yeah. What if so it's like, have I missed possible opportunities? Of course. But everyone misses opportunities, yes. but new opportunities arise, and I'm very happy where I am now.
Does it feel like there's a sense of permanence to it almost, though, that there's like this black mark against you?
Yes.
And even though you were never...
That is the one...
You were never a Nazi. If you could, you would almost take all of it back. But you're not allowed. You are stuck because they will not ever let it go. You will always be considered lesser because you said the F slur or the N slur or whatever it was.
Which, okay,
and look, is that fair?
You know what? I'll say this. If in hindsight, would have I at that point in the fork in the road decided to go with BreadTube rather than what I'm doing right now, which is like a fun show, Twisted Mind Rules. It's funny, it's uncensored, it's not really political. It's more just like a funny show, right? But we are edgy, and we say some stuff.
You gotta say some wild stuff.
So here's the thing is, at that point, in hindsight, maybe I would have picked a different path. However, the silver lining
you can't go back.
But the silver lining of where I'm stuck right now, I have the freedom to say whatever I want. I'm not a rich man. But dude, like going to do my streams every day, We do like 4 or 5 hours a day, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday we do the second show. We do a podcast for Patreon on Wednesday, and on Saturday, on Sunday we do like the higher tier patrons like 6-hour hangout. If I was in BreadTube, it wouldn't be as funny or near as based as it is right now.
Yeah,
and I'm not a rich man, but I'm so happy, you know. And Kyler is a great co-host. So would I be? Here's a great question. Would I be richer?
Yeah.
Yo, I'd be rolling, dude.
Yeah.
I'd be rolling. But the life lessons learned through the downfalls of what that whole situation was, plus the drug addiction, plus the spurging out, plus all the controversial scandals or whatever, it was like, you know, those were like slaps in the face. Aim was the final, like, imagine someone's like passed out on the floor and you're like, and they're causing problems. Mm-hmm. And you like that final slap in the face and they snap out of it. Mm-hmm. Aim was like I don't even regret aim.
It shocked you out of it because it was rock bottom, right?
Yes, it was rock bottom. It was like the most embarrassing thing. And we did a funny skit the next day when Alex was arrested. We'll talk about that aim.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll finish.
We'll get in there, but it's connected. It's all connected. It all
connects because it's your life, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask about this. People would kill me if I didn't ask about this. Did you believe the allegations against JF about his proclivity for mentally disabled women when he was your partner? Did you think that it could be true that he was into mentally disabled women? Or did you just kind of dismiss it out of hand, you know?
You know, during this time, my life was busy. It was partying.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship that was pretty rocky. So the time spent on that through many, you know, certain things, obviously you can imagine what. Through the Kumite and all these things, right? So what was the question?
It was, did you believe the allegations against JF?
I was so busy that my brain was so overloaded with just all these things I had to do. Mm-hmm. When people would bring these allegations to me, I would look at them and I would, I don't even care. Like,
they would send you court documents, right? Like, I know in a lot of it, like, there was at least 5 times people tweeted to you directly and you interacted with them. Yes. They said, you know, here's the court documents. It shows he was with this person. And you later exposed him with the twisted mind of JF. But
the way he explained it to me, like, he had such a great persuasion in his, the way he explained it to me. The way he was like, this is, like, she's not actually what you, like, this is saying she is.
Yeah.
And he was so honest about it, and he felt, like, genuine about it. I believed him. So I never looked deep into it. It's like one of those things where if I were to, like, do a few hours of research, which some people did later during that documentary I made about JF.
Yeah.
Which we actually watched the other night. So it was almost like, you know, I was denying the possibility. I was. It was a shitty thing
to throw you a life raft on this one, though. I mean, to get you to read anything is probably a bit of a, you know, because you're not a guy that's really into reading. You know, I'm going to just guess. So to get you to read court documents of all things, boring, dry, when you're in the midst of snorting coke and partying and crazy stuff, I mean, it is kind of plausible that you wouldn't look into it. A lot of people,
and it was even like,
because for me, I would have read it, and you know what I mean? Because I
don't. And look, even like my mentality at that point too, it was like, okay, if he did some fucked up shit, like, I'm not gonna hold it against him. I don't even care. I'm not gonna look into this. Like, see the severity of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I was trying to own him, which I think my 2-part documentary series, which we watched the other night.
Yeah.
It actually does pretty good.
Well, it exposes him for what he is.
It exposes him, but then beyond that, I think once you expose someone for what they've done, it's like, what am I gonna do? Like shit on him? Like hold this hate forever? No. Honestly, I hope his show is doing. I hope he's doing what like makes him happy. It was sort of like a fucking you. Like here's your expose. You know, it's fun. It's fun to make those documentaries too.
Oh, I've made a ton of them.
And exactly. And they've been done on me so many times. Like all these people. So I get it. I get when people shit on me for certain things.
Yeah. This is one people want to hear. Did you ever meet Mama JF?
No, I never met her.
You didn't interact with her. No stories. Did Jeff ever tell you about her?
No, zero.
Nothing. You met JF in real life though, eh?
Yes, I have.
How is he in real life?
He was okay. He was good.
He was okay.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. He was really tired from driving the whole time.
Yeah.
He was odd though.
In what way?
I don't know. He seemed. Okay, you know how JF is on his show? I know he is on a video.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you go on camera, you extenuate, you sort of like
exaggerate aspects of yourself. They make them larger than life, right?
To make them entertaining.
Yeah.
Same guy.
He's the exact same on camera as all.
Andy, like, I'm going to take a nap right now. You're like, all right.
Andy, I am taking a nap.
He napped.
Oh.
And then he exposed that I had a pipe in my bathroom. And he has drugs in his bath. I'm like, bro, don't tell people that shit. But I did at the time.
Narc JF.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right, let's move on from Jean-Francois. Couple questions people brought up about Blair White. What did you think of Blair White? Did you like her or him, whatever it is?
Honestly, the Blair White. The biggest thing I knew that happened with Blair White was the I don't know what the you'll keep.
Well,
oh,
okay.
I took out this guy called. Oh, you want to hear this? You probably don't know about omnipolitics. Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
Here's the tale.
Okay.
Exclusive. Guys, exclusive. You don't even know what you're about to.
Exclusive. Let's go.
So there was this pedophile called Omnipolitics, and he was straight up like a we can f kids guy, right? He was straight into it. He wanted yeah. So I ended up having him on my show to go like, kids is wrong. What a take. You know, hot take, Warski. Don't f kids. Like, what a mensch. Blair White ended up being on that show. And this is when I talked about the second babysitter.
Oh, the second babysitter.
All right.
What's going on?
This girl. So she must have been 16. And I must have been like 4 or 5-ish, around there. It was right after this babysitter you beat me, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
It was a transitional period, okay? This 16-year-old girl would like sit on my face and shit like at night.
What?
Yeah, for like a few times, like straight up.
You remember this?
Yes, and I remember liking it, being like, "Yo, let's fucking go." But I didn't know what was happening.
Right.
So what a fucking like
so
transitional.
this babysitter would have been about 16. You would have been 5.
Yeah.
Was the extent of the abuse just she sat on your face? Or was there penetration?
I don't know. No penetration.
Any other form of sexual stimulation?
I can't remember. I do remember other like kissing moments, but those are faded. The sitting on the face was like the ultimate. Like I can remember that room. Like if you are, I could paint you a picture of that room.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are the odds though to get 2 abusive babysitters back to back?
The one we had after her, a saint on earth. Angelic. Like this woman actually lived with us for a bit. This older lady passed away, R.I.P. She's dead now, but like she lived with us for like I don't know 5-6 years, maybe more.
Yeah. And
she was like the nanny of the house and took care of me. No abuse. You know, a little Portuguese and spanking here and there. What are you doing? You're a type thing. All fine within like raising a kid. So I was blessed after that. But like, yeah, the second babysitter was very sexual abusive. But I remember liking it and asking my parents, my mom, like, you know, when she coming over again? There's a 5-year-old horned up, ready to like bust a load. Like,
that's crazy, man. But like, so there wasn't any sort of lasting trauma or really long-term negative impact from that, do you think? Or do you think that affected you negatively going forward?
No, I don't think it's never been traumatic. It's never been PTSD or anything.
So but how does the second babysitter tie into the Blair White stuff?
Because when we were talking to OmniPolitics.
Yep.
So he's trying to give reasons why kids is fine. So then that's when I finally exposed that story. That was like the first time I ever said that. And Blair White was there during that moment. And Blair White, she cried, you know? She was like, you know, it was an emotional moment, me exposing this to like destroy this pedophile. So we ruined this guy, right? It's not that hard. But, you know, it was a good 3-hour stream. Me and Blair White, we were pretty tight after that. This guy, here's the follow-up with OmniPolitics. Guys, if you could find OmniPolitics, God bless you. This guy, he was trolling some of my viewers, and he was sending them CP, apparently. The FBI ends up getting involved and catching OmniPolitics. And he went to jail for like 2 or 3 years, right? So he comes out, and we find out OmniPolitics, this is in 2015, 2016, OmniPolitics is out of jail. He's out of jail, but everyone who's like, he attacked with CP, they're all attacking him and his family through Facebook. Okay? So his family's being littered with this shit. He ends up killing himself.
Whoa.
Yo!
Well, maybe you made the world a better place.
You know? And he was like, I take care of my like 10-year-old niece. And I'm like, what's that mean? He said, don't worry about it. And we're losing our mind. Like this lore that...
What a thing to say.
The fact that it's missing in internet history is a shame.
But, you know, people... Oh, man. Anyway.
But Blair White and I were pretty close. And then I guess she got, with the whole JF thing, Warski Live thing, you know, all the skeptics threw me under the bus. They were like, if I were to try to explain myself, I had no chance. Yeah. Andy's already banished from this, you know, it's a red mark on my name. So I end up, and I think you have a question for this, when me and Asian Andy were streaming.
Yeah, so what was going on? It was like you wore a Trump hat as like a prank, or? No.
So I guess people were mad at me about, they thought that I was trying to f with Blair White.
Right. So
Blair White, she posted this video where she's wearing a Trump hat. And then someone threw a drink on her.
Okay.
And then it was like this big deal, like, is there acid in it? You know?
Okay.
It was like a crazy video. And I didn't think it was fake per se. Maybe. But for me, I was like, I have a funny idea. And I had 2 black friends, right? So we end up making a skit where I wear a Trump hat, and we're doing it like, oh, this is real. We're filming it on the streets, like these vlog styles. Yeah. I have a Trump hat, and when I put it on, it becomes a skit where the 2 black dudes, like down the park, turn around and pull guns, and then you start firing. And we use cool special effects for the ricochet. And I take it off, and it heads back to vlog, and I'm like, they put it back on, and they start shooting again, but now it's like an HD Tarantino movie.
Yeah, yeah.
And then everyone went, Andy taking shots at Blair. It's like a skit based on your fucking idea. Like, calm down, bitch. So I guess that tied with the JF stuff. We see her like streaming, me, Baked Alaska, and Asian Andy.
And you go up to her.
Legendary stream, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, guys, Asian Andy, Warski, Baked Alaska, that IRL stream, funny stuff. But she walks, and she was acting weird to me, but I had no clue. None the wiser. She hates me.
Wow.
Hates me. She wants me dead.
That being said, did you jerk off to the music video with Blair White in it?
No.
Would you Blair White?
The music video. Wait, what?
There's a music video with Blair White in it that she likes dancing and like whatever.
Let's fucking go. Just kidding. No.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't Blair White.
No.
Well, when you were talking with Blair White, you were talking about the Trapno State.
All right.
You were talking about how you were going to establish the Trapno State, so I thought maybe you were into the trap.
The Trapno State. It was a funny era. So Sargon, he was trying to be like a liberalist.
Right, yeah, we all remember.
You remember that? Okay, so he's trying to become a liberalist, create this new political party. And for me, the Trapno State, we always talk about ethno state, someone brought up the Trapno State, and I thought it's so funny because someone's trying to start a real movement. Mm-hmm. And what an embarrassment that the movement opposed to him is, it's kind of like exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like so over the top. And I think I saw this question. You did a quick scroll on them, but I did see that the liberalist. I tried to
trademark
it. So Chris was trademarking Warski, which is trademarked now, and then he tried trademarking the word liberalist on stream.
No, I remember this. Like I watched it.
We did that. Warski was trademarked because it's like an like original whatever idea. But a liberalist, they couldn't like finalize it because it contained a word that was so general. Like because the word liberal,
because it was a terrible name to begin with.
You can't make conservatives ivists.
Yeah.
You can't make that word up because if you try to trademark it. So some people are like, oh, you scammed. You said you were gonna like. Because people donated that stream. To
trademark it, but it was actually impossible.
We tried.
We tried to do it, but it couldn't
actually. And it was like,
be done.
We didn't make $1 million off it. Like, calm down. Like, it was like...
It was still pretty funny, because Sargon was seething pretty badly.
Oh, it did
all the liberalists were seething. They were seething big time. And they deserved to seethe, because they were a slimy group. A slimy group of scumbags were the liberalist skeptics.
I remember you went off on them too, right?
Oh, the first videos I ever made on YouTube, I probably made 40 videos about Sargon and about Crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And about all that stuff. But nobody ever saw those videos, It was only after I got into it with Ralph and stuff like this, it started to gain traction. But there was a little audience for it, and people liked them. I liked those videos, We mentioned Baked Alaska a few minutes ago. Did you really do coke with Baked Alaska?
No, I'll tell you what happened. When I was in LA, I did... I asked them to buy me coke. But like I was with Asian Andy, and I was like, if you could find someone, cool. If not, like no big deal, right? And then they had a buddy who ended up like hooking me up with like a bag of coke.
Right.
So yeah, I had a buddy who.
But were you snorting lines with Tim?
No.
You never saw Tim do any lines
or
anything?
No.
Okay.
Never seen Tim do.
What's he like in person?
He was very nice. He was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like he was nice. Like I honestly can't. You can make fun of Tim of Baked Alaska as much as you want, but like in person, very like generous guy, very hospitable. He did text on his phone while he was driving a lot. Like he's like literally like checking his Twitter like while driving. I'm like, I think I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Like not looking at the window for like 30 seconds at a time, and I didn't say anything. I remember going, "We're gonna die. This is how I die, flying out of Baked Alaska's windshield."
Can you imagine?
No.
Man, things would be so different. There would be no Sammy streams. There would be but maybe the world would have been a better place. I don't know without Yoba, but we'd have lost Andy. So
Yeah.
Do you think the stories of Baked having gay sex at AVN are true?
Yeah, I think
You think so?
I mean, I don't think they're true, as I think that there is a possibility that...
Did you ever get a vibe from him that he was like a homosexual or that he might be gay?
No.
Not really. He didn't try and grope you or anything like that.
Like, you can look at clues through streams and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and try to add something to be flavorful and lie about it.
No, you don't lie about it. Tell the truth, right?
Yeah.
The whole interview
It'd be funnier if he was like, oh, I was like, he's a flamer.
No, it would be
He
funny
tried sucking my
but...
dick at night, you know?
No.
That would have been funny, but no, he didn't.
What do you think of the stuff Bake's done recently? You know, his legal issues, you know, IP2. Do you think he's a Fed? Do you think he's become an informant?
Look. Okay, hang on. I'm going to say this. So he was doing all that shit on D-Live. Now, I'm doing a show called Twisted Mind, and I started on D-Live. And on D-Live, any N-words, F-slurs, you know, what's the word? Watch out! Those words were a no-no, and we got in trouble for them a lot. And then he's streaming, and he's doing all this straight-up Keemstar. And you're like macing people one after another. You know, he was going nuts. He almost killed Aldi. Not him in particular, but like Dope District and fighting lesbians on the... I was like, we're gonna, like, D-Live is gonna get... Now, obviously, I didn't say anything. I just held it in, like, why am I getting reprimanded for... I said, meanwhile, he's macing, like, 18 people. And then he was upset that I criticized it.
Wow.
I didn't try to stop him. I just went, dude, it's kind of nuts. Like, tone it down. Like, don't get banned and shit. I'm trying to give some life advice. Some, like, straight up Andy. And then all his fans were like, Kyler and Andy want Baked to be killed. Like, we said you'll be killed if you're, like, in, like a ghetto and you have the N-word blasting off. So now he thinks that Kyler and Andy want him to be killed. And he's going with that narrative. Yeah. And he starts just dropping off. Like,
well, because he's challenged you to fight a few times.
3.
So people want to know what happened with that. It's just never materialized, right?
Well, he brought up, you want to, like, I accept the challenge with Warski. The first time I went, yes. And then after, he was, like, toying around. He wasn't, like, responding to me at all. But he kept mentioning it. And I'm like, look. And then finally I'm like, okay, I have work to do. I got things to do. I'm doing other things in my life. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to... No Tonka, no show bullshit. I'm not interested in that. That's gay. And then he re-challenges me to a fight. Like, randomly. Like, 2 weeks later. And then I go, fine, $10,000. You know, hotel, flights, training time, like all that stuff. $10,000, it's worth it for me. Doesn't accept. And then the January 6th stuff happens a few weeks ago. Third challenge. I'm like, no, like what the f-? It's like this toying thing, like, we might have a fight. You either want to fight me or you don't, bro. And you could say, oh, Andy's trying to, like, coax money out of this. You know what? Yes. I'm not paying for hotel. I'm not paying for training. I'm not paying for food. I'm not paying for protein and creatine. Wow. I'm not paying for any of that shit.
We're about to get into why that is, because you've done this before, right? Before we do, though, did you think that Baked and Milo ever had sex, or was there anything weird going on with Baked and Milo? What do you think?
I'd probably say a hand job.
You think probably a hand job, something like that?
Would you be surprised?
I wouldn't be surprised. Does Milo make, like, to your knowledge, does he make his staff, like his team, do they have to, like, service him sexually? Have you heard anything like that?
I have not.
No? Okay.
Believe me, I wish I had the fucking hard drive of, you know.
He has the hard drive. He's
got the hard drive.
Now, do you think that Milo has turned a new leaf because we've heard he's gone to conversion therapy?
He says
he's straight. You're not buying what he's selling, Andy?
No, dude.
Oh,
you're gonna be sucking dicks, and I swear his tagline. And look, I don't hate Milo. I've met him before. I've talked to him on Killstream. Milo is just like, you're telling me your tagline for your life was "I suck black dick." Like that was his right. And it was to be like owning the libs, like I'm gay.
We're owning the libs by sucking dick.
By giant black BBC, right? You're sucking that shit?
Yeah.
But you can't do that and then one day you're like, now I'm converting you into a straight man? Come on, Milo.
Andy.
And did you see him, oh, by the way, did you see him throw the, an engagement ring that was like $100K or some shit? And there's a video, we watched it on Killstream, and he threw it into the ocean. I'm like, this is the fake, he did not throw. There's zero.
Desperate for cash.
Zero chance.
Desperate.
$100K in the ocean, you, like, and it was never mentioned again. Surprise, surprise, because it's not $100K, like, and there was a cut in the video. It needs to be one take.
That's so embarrassing.
From appraisal, it's got to be from appraisal, one take in the, you know what I mean? Like, you're filming
Andy,
it.
Would you ever call Milo, do you think it would be straight to call him Master Milo?
No, that's kind of nuts. What the hell?
Okay. You would never call him Master
Milo, but why would you do that?
It's just you have a friend who calls him Master Milo, that's all. Anyway, getting into Knoxville, was it kayfabe? People want to know how much of this shit was actually real, how much of it was fucking fake.
It was 100% as presented. If you watch the Dame Quesos...
But what was presented was like, was Andy. Like,
listen.
Let's cut to the chase. Did you actually think that Tonka would ever show up?
Yeah. You
thought he might show up and you might have to fight him.
Until the blood test.
Up until the blood test. So,
yeah. Up
until like a week out, basically. What was it? Like, how many, was it 3 days or a week
Not
out?
A week out, no. It was longer.
How long out was it for the blood test? Was it a month?
Yeah, it was like a month.
Was it a month? And then from that point you knew he wasn't showing up.
I said that. I said, I'm still going to go there and we'll party and we'll do like we'll meet up and stuff. Like,
yeah.
I felt really bad. I really did think, like, okay, he's going to fight. So I was training. Like, I actually was kind of nervous. Like, not that I'm scared of Tonka, but fighting in general. And you're doing it in front of cameras. And it's for, like, a legacy type thing.
No, I mean...
So I trained out of, like, fear of, like...
The humiliation if Tonka, the crippled Indian, was to beat you.
Oh, dude. It would have been a big, like, skid on the reputation.
A big stain.
Oh, dude. I got scared. So I trained.
Would that have
There was always a voice in the back of my head that it was like, don't worry, he's not going to show up. There was that voice there, but the fear of like, if Tonka beats me up, I might just pop. I might just kill myself.
Do you think that it would have actually been better if Tonka had shown up than beat you?
Yes!
Than the timeline that actually took place?
100%.
Wow.
It would have been so much more based. Imagine footage of that.
I know.
Like, what a lost opportunity of the history.
I was so upset about that. You know, I really wanted to see the fight happen. And it didn't materialize. And I think for a lot of people, that was the point where they started tuning out. Because they were like, this is the end of the arc. You know, and then in the weeks that followed, shit got really real. I know you never met Tonka in real life, but you worked with him, like you hosted him on the Kumite. You had a lot of private calls with him and stuff like this. What is Tonka like? Like, what is he like as a person?
When me and him, we were good. He's a pretty nice guy. You know, it's like he's whatever, chill. Very, like, low energy, low key type thing. But then he always just starts having ideas. Like, you're in a Discord call with him, and it'd be funny And it starts these gay ops, like he starts building it up. It's all kayfabe with him, you know? Tonka, there's not an honest bone in his body.
Yeah.
If you ever see him talking shit about anyone, there's no real passion behind it. It's all this, like, meticulous, like... And it's never good.
Yeah.
He always did try that stuff, you know? He tried to, like, with us a few times. I can't remember the stories too crazy, like... But there was a lot of times where he would try to make me and Failure, like, have to, like, seem, like, aloof about something. And we're like, no one's gonna buy this. I get, like, doing bits, fine. But it was like, no, everyone's gonna think I'm an idiot. Like, no, that's kind of up. You'll be funny if you didn't realize that. No, that's insane. Like, it's not even, like, it makes me look like bad. How about we make you look bad?
Well, look, Knoxville became, as time went on, less and less about a fight between you and Tonka Saw, and more about all the assorted drama of everybody who fucking came together on this trip. And one person who came on this trip was Gonzalo Lira, award-winning author, filmmaker, and he claimed that you and Ralph had a homosexual relationship, that you were the pitcher, Ralph was the catcher. He says he filmed it all. He has it all on tape. Is it real? Is there a tape?
No, it's not. But here's the thing. I told PPP before this started, I'm like, first of all, that would be insane if he had that, right?
Yeah.
First of all, like, release the tape. Was I drunk? Did this release by accident? No, but there was no gay sex. I did say to Ashton here, I was like, what if I said it did happen? And we'll just, like, move on from it. But I can't even do that to Ralph. Love Ralph. He's my friend. There's no gay sex. You know, like...
Well, it's because Coach made all this stuff up, right? It was all bullshit. And because of that, you said he fed the mistress give the abortion, right?
We made up the abortion thing.
Yeah.
And we called him Coach Abortion Pill. And it wasn't to be serious. It was sort of like just a fucking goof off, right? Yeah, that's what happened with Coach.
Oh,
See,
so look,
I do miss Gonzalo Lira.
Oh, Gonzo is the character. He's
Coach
a real
Red Pill,
character.
if you're watching this, Coach, like I'm sorry, man. Like, you were cool. Like, cheers to you, buddy.
Look,
I hope you're doing well. I hope.
Look,
he's like.
He's
Coach Red Pill.
He's Coach Red Pill. He's a villainous, very interesting figure. Now, look, you and Ralph weren't on this trip.
No. Who
was on this trip? Who was getting laid? Who was getting paid? What was going on? Who was getting down and dirty on this trip?
I Pinecone Girl. We did a show on that, like, what, 2 nights ago?
We did a show on it 2 nights ago. People can check it out. People want to know, did Pinecone's pussy stink?
No, it didn't.
It didn't. It was clean.
It was a D smell. It was good times. It was based. It was fun. The aftermath didn't go well, though.
Yeah. No, we know. We know. Was anybody else on this trip having sex?
No.
Because Coach made a claim that Ralph had cheated on his wife in Knoxville. They're divorced now. Really doesn't matter anymore.
No.
He didn't do it?
No, he didn't.
Coach is full of fucking shit again?
There was no anyone else.
Well, speaking of people not getting to fuck, how did you feel about cucking Shannon in Knoxville?
No, listen. I had left. Shit had moved on. Time had, the time had been spent. Whatever happened between Gator and what's her name?
Pinecone Kirsten?
Yeah. What's her name?
What's her name?
What's her name? Like, what are you doing?
No, you don't even know her name anymore.
Listen, chat.
But you weren't you didn't revel in cucking Gator. You didn't
Zero.
revel in that.
No, I love Gator.
You weren't trying
Gator.
to humiliate him or anything
No,
like that.
no.
Is it true he got kicked out of the bar because he didn't have an ID?
No, I'll tell you the story.
So what Coach is like off on some other shit, is he?
So we went to a bar and Gator, the ID he brought was expired.
Okay.
And in most states, you can have an expired ID. It's fine because it just still proves that you're over the age.
Yeah, well, and you look at him and he looks like he's
Knoxville? No. Knoxville's like specific law is it needs to be like a valid one. So then Gator was like, oh, guys, and there's like 150 of us, 200 of us. So me and Ralph, we go, all right, we're going to bring all our people somewhere else. And the person looked back and like sees like 200 people and goes, it's all good, and let us in.
Nice.
Yeah, Gator was good, but Gator...
And Gator, by the way, Gator, go yourself, you piece of shit. Gator in the face, you piece of shit, lying psycho cunt. In his ear, saying Andy was talking shit. I said I was disappointed in him. I made a couple of cracks, a couple of jokes. You stupid glorified soundboard.
It was good.
Question. Did Coach Red Pill really save Ethan Ralph's life? He claims that Ethan Ralph was drunk and he was going to come at a cop, and Coach grabbed him and held him back and said, Ethan, no, you can't, like, you're going to go to jail. What are you doing, man?
That's false.
That didn't happen.
That's false.
Coach is just full of fucking shit. Okay, I'm going to start asking.
He's like,
he just is he is a liar. He's a scam artist.
The thing is, too, is like, I wish I could tell you any of these Coach things were real, just so I could at least have some assurance that when I was...
Surfer, no! Let's...
wipe out there on the fucking camera.
Look, let's
what about the Coach?
Take a break?
No, I'm going to say...
No, tell the Coach anything about Coach being real. I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, I wish there was one thing where Coach said something, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Because every time now you bring up Coach's name, I'm like, everything is like, for me, you could believe me or not, you could think I'm a liar. But for me, I'm like, well, that's not true. Like, that's insane. You know? I wish you guys had my, like, memory for, like...
Okay. So I'm gonna bring up some names of people that were at Knoxville. What were they like? How was Ethan Ralph during Knoxville?
He was great.
Had a great time with him.
Ralph was 10 out of 10 on that trip. Yeah, it was really fun.
How was Dick Masterson?
He was cool. Very nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with him. Yeah, definitely.
What about Nick Rekieta?
He was cool. I didn't see him too much. Saw him like twice at the bar, and we ate breakfast one time. But he was decent.
What about Gator?
Awesome guy. Chill.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Got nothing but nice things to say about Knoxville.
I'm trying to think. Were there any... Oh, okay, you want to hear a bad story? I know what you're trying to look for. So, Coach Red Pill.
Let's go.
Sorry, chat. Sorry, hang on.
It's okay.
All right, edit, right? This guy. So me and Ralph, we spent... I think Coach did pitch in a little bit. No, I got the story. Whoa, I remembered. So Coach Red Pill. So me and Ralph are splitting this Airbnb. Dick is staying there, so is a Gator, so is Coach. And no one has to pay much, or I think people paid a little bit, or buy food or something if you weren't paying. But me and Ralph, we were like, this is our Airbnb. Come the first night, Coach Redfield's unpacking in the second bedroom. I'm like, what? And me and him almost got hands dirty. Like, I was like, are you like, we were going at it, and then finally, like, fine, like, what am I gonna do? Fight it, a 50-year-old man, like, okay, fine, Coach, you win.
Yeah.
But then at the bar the next day, I'm like, you're paying $200 or something. And he goes, fine. And then he PayPal'd me $200, and I go, okay, I won't bitch about the room. So he did feel bad enough to PayPal me some money. But the first night he was rambunctious. He
was wild.
He was gonna throw hands with me.
Whoa.
You know, Coach, I actually wish we didn't throw hands. Seriously.
There's a story that people ask about. Is it true? Did Coach Red Pill dump a beer on a fan's head?
Yes!
Did he really do it?
Bro, he went wilding. He was like so big. Yes! Holy shit, you just brought up like a memory. It was a serious situation. That was a serious situation. He straight up, like, I remember, like, we were in the back, right? Everyone is just smoking cigarettes, and he's arguing with some guy. And I remember the mug being turned over this fan's head. Coach took him out to lunch.
Why did he do it?
I don't know. I remember all of us.
So the story is that the fan came up to Coach and said, you know, I really appreciate you. I'm a huge fan. You've been a really positive older male influence in my life. And Coach hated that he said he was an older male influence. Which you'd figure is his entire brand.
Whoa,
but
buddy.
He didn't like that he was being called out as being old,
Whoa,
so he
buddy.
dumped the beer on his head. This
What?
really happened.
Yes.
Whoa.
I remember there being a drama about that, but I was so far removed from that situation that... But I remember being like, that's hilarious. Like, I was like pumped. It pumped me up, and I was hammered. Like, people all night there they were drinking me under the table. People were buying me drinks. I ended up passing out, and Nick, Mr. Riqueda's wife, was helping me that night.
Yeah.
She was being very, very cool. I survived because of Nick Riqueda's wife.
What? Anyway, what the?
Yeah.
What the?
No, okay.
What the? Anyway, we'll move on here from Knoxville. Actually, let's take a short break.
Yeah,
here.
I gotta
Let's
pee
take
and
a
stuff.
Moving on to Geek Thulu, of all people. Now, we've had our encounters with Geek Thulu this week. We're not going to waste too much time on Geek Thulu, but he was a part of your life. Honestly, did the late night crying calls to Geek really happen? Is it like he said you'd call him up in the night, hyperventilating, crying to him? Is that true?
Yeah, there were some times where I was in a rough spot, and I would, like, confide in him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not a false thing that he has said. Is it funny? I guess, you know, my ruined life. Like, sure, I guess, you know? But, yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Well, how was the partnership with Geek overall? How do you think it went?
I liked him, like, honestly, like, I met him through GTA RP. We're doing, like Grand Theft Auto roleplay. And I had a gang called the Valentines. And he joined it. And I actually called him by his name in the game for like a year. Sal Valentine.
Let's go.
But, you know, a lot of people didn't like Geek.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, what about you? What did you think? I know this is an interview, but what did you think about him? Like, what did you think?
I honestly thought he was an untalented coattail riding hack myself. And I thought he was an emotionally manipulative little F-slur. For sure.
Wow. Hindsight's 20/20.
You know.
Is
he as annoying as he sounds on the streams, Andy?
Like, what's the annoying part? Like,
I don't know. He just sounds like he'd be a really annoying guy.
You know, like, hey, what's up, man? Life's tough. You know, like literally everything was like.
No.
You would think this guy was going through some tragedy every day.
Every day of his life is an agony, is torment. Oh.
Yo, what's up, bud?
Well.
Like,
did he really
sorry.
do all the work, like he said, Andy? Did he do all the work?
Like, what work?
Well, I don't actually know anything he ever did.
Like, what work are we talking about?
I don't know. Like, he's always says that, like, he did all the work, you were lazy, you didn't do subcultured, you didn't do...
I did, though.
Well,
Like there's evidence against every claim, like that I didn't do work. In fact, that's the reason why. So can I just tell the story of subculture?
Sure, go ahead.
Because it's part of the questions anyway. So a few years ago, you know, him and I think. Okay, so a few years ago, we thought of this show called Subculture, and the idea of this show was sort of like a reality show where it would be you film like a whole segment, it'd be like 40-minute documentary style, like HBO, whatever. But the subculture would be of like the Hells Angels, cultists, you know, like, and then you're living a day in the life of these people that you're watching. And you get permission to film from them and stuff. So that was like the reality show idea. Now, never came to fruition. But when I came back from America, he was like, let's do some normie stuff. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like some red letter media.
Yeah.
Do subculture. So I do 7-8 videos, okay? It's called Game Anatomy. It's like this full documentary. I played the game to capture the footage, like tons of hours put into this, and he didn't help out. Now, Kyler was messaging. He wanted to be put into this group, Subculture. But Geek and I talked about it. And Kyler, you know, he says, you know, the N-word. He's on the right. Might not be good for the normie channel. Maybe not, like, don't bring him in, okay? But Geek's not helping for weeks and weeks and weeks as I'm making video after video after video. He doesn't help at all. So finally, Kyler's like, I have a script. Like, do you want to do it or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? So was it a dick move? I didn't ask Geek or tell Geek, hey. But it's like 7 videos later, you haven't even been calling me. And I'm making these videos. Yeah. Are you even part of Subculture? It's been like 6 months. Right? And then he says, I stole Subculture. But what happened was, he quit Subculture. It's in front of tons of people. Failure, Spike, Sherman, other people who heard this in the call. He's like, I quit. I quit Subculture because you brought Kyler into this. Fine.
There we go. What do you think of this farewell stream? He's quit the internet. Do you think he'll be back?
Yeah. This is not.
This isn't the last ride of Geek Thulu?
No, he'll be back.
He'll be back in his 50s and 60s.
He was in the chat. Like, we covered that. Yeah. And he was in the chat. Like, the farewell is not only by email now, because now we can contact you in the chat, you know?
Yeah. So, now that we've gone through all the co-hosts of Warski, all of them, who was your favorite co-host?
Honestly, they all had good moments.
But what, like, who was your favorite? Like, who do you think it was, like, the best with? You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's a hard, I can't answer that.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's more of like that's like splitting your life up into like different sections completely. Like your life wouldn't be whole with any of these pieces because they were very like similar in length.
Yeah,
you know.
You wouldn't say it would be Chris?
Chris was who was the best one? I would say Chris. Yes, I would say Chris. In terms of like comedy, like value,
yeah,
you know, and production value. Like I would say, Chris, yeah.
Like of all of them, who did the most work? Like who would put in the most work?
Chris
would put in the most work. Yeah. Who put in the least work?
Not JF. So, who's the last guy?
Geek Thulu?
Well, yeah, I mean, Look, I don't mean to be a dick about
You
it, but
put
yeah.
in the least work.
Well, he was complaining. And...
So,
Anyway, go ahead.
look, this is a question. Do you do work for the show? Like, do you do prep work for the show, or do you just show up? Like, a lot of people say, Andy rolls out of bed, his shows are made up for him by the co-host.
No.
No, you do prep work?
I do a lot of prep work.
Yeah?
I think I do a lot of prep work, yeah. Like, I fill out the show links, I plan everything. Like, I take Twisted Mind very seriously. It's, by the way, odyssey.com/subcultured, dlive.tv/subcultured. We do sort of like a full show, like the first 2 hours on DLive. It's a bit censored, but it's still funny. The last 2 hours only on Odyssey, and we go off. But no, I don't sleep on the show, no.
Okay.
Because honestly, I really like what we do there. It's so fun. Like, the show Twisted Mind rules. It's so good. I love this show. I'm glad I'm the host, so I can get to enjoy every episode. Now, some episodes, it's like 4 to 5 hours each. Some episodes, it's sort of like we're looking for, it's two guys chilling and searching for the gold, the craziness in this world. And really, it's not hard to find now.
Yeah.
We always specify each target. So, like, one day it'll be, like, Quentin Reviews. One day will be Jim Sterling. But yeah.
Well, moving along to somebody almost equally as abominable as Jim Sterling, let's talk about T-Clips. Amber Jeffries, Boober Lee, whatever you want to call her, the sea creature from the deep. Andy, simple question. Why was T-Clips in your business and everyone's business?
So, T-Clips, the clip channels, for some reason, had a stranglehold, right? At that time, you have to admit, every, like, clip channel sort of had this, like, feeling, we are helping you. We are the reason you're getting even views. So Booberly kept that, like, she took that to heart,
That she's doing you a big favor by clipping your stuff.
Oh, dude, everyone, yeah. But, she, I remember I got, like, I was drunk one night.
Yeah.
Did some, like, let's see your tits, let's f***ing go. That happened at one point. And then she tried exposing it and stuff and going,
Well, did she show her tits?
No.
She didn't show her tits.
So even the attempt was like, felted, I was felted,
well,
guys.
was it that she slipped into your DMs, Andy, or did you go into her DMs first?
I think it was sort of like, she messaged me and then sort of like, you see the pictures, the thumbnail. It's cleavage. And you get felted.
Yeah.
It happens, But then I was like, okay, this is not working out, There's no tit pics coming in. We're not getting anywhere with this at all. I'm going to ignore this. But then fucking Boober Lee, whoa, buddy. Vendetta against me.
Forever, because you turned her down.
Messaging Chris, looking for some, like, shenanigans behind the scenes. Messaging Sinead, trying to get, like, bro, getting f***ing felted, but, like, DM'd. Like, get out of here, Amber.
Like,
you
you
stupid bitch.
didn't want anything to do with her, really.
You're a clip channel.
Yeah.
Well,
she thought she runs it. Andy, why does everyone protect her? Is it like cloud? Is it they're like simping for her because she's a woman?
Are they though?
Is there anyone who actually is simping for her?
The metrics make no sense. The metrics are fucking being, they're being, hacked.
And one final question, because we shouldn't spend any time really on this person, but how many people in this area has she fucked or she's tried to fuck? Can you think of anybody else that she's like tried to get into their DMs and have sex with them?
Like, we could talk about that, but then we'd have no time for any other questions or...
Because it's basically everybody.
There's so many people. I have a better conversation. Who hasn't she? We'd be done in like 5 minutes.
Fair enough. Okay, it's time to move on to an area that of this conversation that's somewhat more serious. Andy, I want you to walk me through the night of what's called aim. So walk me through that night, kind of what your mindset was going into it, and kind of what happened.
So the aim thing, I'll say this. The having a gun by your side thing was always on the top of my mind. Because Alex, who I was hanging out with, he was always like, we always have a gun. Like you got your defense for this IRL stuff. So it was always in the back of my mind, we'll never get with.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I will say that. And that's a very, up thing, thing to have in your mind. It's like, oh, you're going to use a gun against someone if you can't handle it, you bitch. That's how I think about it now. But back then, I didn't have that thought, and I regret that thought. So during that night, when those guys, it was like, I guess we had some dono playing.
Right.
Ducktail. Bonkin. Life is like a... and you're walking down. I think AP donated something where it was like a Warski. Andy Warski night. And it was just whatever.
Yeah.
So it's playing this shit, and some guy in like a tight white shirt, and everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
Walks up, and rest is history. We end up leaving, I guess, and I guess Failure wanted to walk back to give money to that Q guy. Remember there was a Q guy? But then that led us to run into that guy in the white shirt again. So the guy in the white shirt I didn't mention. He was mad that we had N-word songs playing. Fair enough. I mean, you're racist piece of shit, motherfucker. And then he showed up. He goes, failures, we have to pay that guy, the Q guy. I think it's not a bad idea. Throw him $10. We walked back. That fucking first guy's there. And he starts coming at us. And in my mind, I'm like, this guy, we got a gun. What are you gonna do?
Right.
I did use the gun in my mind as a reassurance. Nothing bad will happen. Is that what do you think of that?
Well, wouldn't using
I'm
using
thinking
the
of this
gun
now.
be a
I'm
bad
thinking of this
thing
now.
that happened?
Huh?
If the gun was to be used, wouldn't that be a bad thing that you've had to use a gun to take somebody's life?
Yeah, but I guess my thought was, are we doing something bad enough that you're going to force us to have to defend ourselves?
Yeah, it's just that you could have fist fought these guys at any time. You had done MMA training for 3 months. Why didn't you just fist fight them?
Because fist fighting in my mind was you can get arrested for it.
But pulling the gun, you didn't think you could get arrested.
Well, I didn't pull the gun, so...
You're right, you did not pull the gun.
Aim,
Did you? I think you also told them to shoot.
No.
You didn't? Who said shoot? It was Failure that
was
said
Failure
shoot?
said shoot.
Failure said shoot.
Failure was like, shoot. Yo, I said aim, and my thought with aim, okay, guys, chat. Commenters.
Yeah.
Whatever this is. When we were in that situation, so he's following us. And I'm like, this is getting serious. And in my mind, I'm like, gun. This is it. You know that phrase, Chekhov's gun. What is it?
Yeah, it's set up. It's Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun. The setup's there. This is the. Let's
This
bring
is
it
the
out.
payoff. Yeah.
This is the payoff. Aim, aim, aim.
Yeah.
And then I aimed the fucking camera.
You aimed the camera. You told me this earlier.
I bent down like this. And in my mind, like, honestly,
You were trying to get the perfect shot.
it was just like, in my mind, I was delusional. You're
Were
like,
you seeing dollar signs? as this
no,
was
no,
happening?
no. It's just, everyone's probably loving this. The internet's probably dying for this footage. Like,
Yeah.
the money, like, there was no money in that thought
Yeah,
at
you just
all.
thought this is going to go viral. This is going to be a
Not
big-
even viral. It's just like, this is so, like, crazy. Like, where are you going to see this?
Well, I know.
It was like painting a fucking picture that no one's ever painted before. And you're like, look at this. And then the whole fucking, we called the cops thing.
Yeah.
we
So
phoned
why
the
did
cops.
you decide, after pulling on
Nation.
them, to call the cops?
Absolute nation.
There was just... You
Absolute.
thought that they should be punished because they were coming after you, sort of thing?
I should have been like, okay, let's move on. Like, I should have. But I'm happy with what happened because no one got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Alex was bailed out in a day.
Yep.
And no charges were put on him at all.
So in the end, all the charges against Alex got
It was
dropped.
like a nothing thing.
Yeah. And then in terms of his bail,
Yeah.
he wasn't out of pocket. How did that turn out? You paid half of it.
I paid half and his mom paid half.
His mom paid half. So his mom was out a bit of money. But other than that, everybody was safe.
It was like 2,000 each, I think.
2,000 each.
2,000 each, yeah. And
Because there's a question here.
And we thought though it would be funny because this is why the next stream was so like crazy, was because we didn't think it was that serious. That's how aim was like in our mind. It was like nothing crazy because the next stream was, we bailed Alex out, but no one knew. So we thought it would be funny if we started a stream and it's like a regular sleep stream.
Yep.
But it was just me and failure. And then I start sleeping in Alex's bed. And everyone thinks Alex is in jail. So the chat's going like, Andy, are you fucking nuts? You fucking got this guy arrested by yelling aim in this. But it was fine. Like, there was no, like, repercussions. The Medicare stream is what really turned that into like a nothing burger
into being something big. The real
a morality.
the real
social climate.
the real repercussion was getting the Medicare stream, really.
Yeah, yes.
Because whatever Jim said was basically law at that point in time in the particular sphere. Would you have been willing to see someone get hurt if it meant that you would have got a significant amount of donations at that time? If it would have pulled you out of the financial slump you were in? Would it have really mattered to you if somebody got tased or shot or beat up?
I'm so happy no one has. And there was nothing in my heart at that point where I ever wanted anyone to actually be hurt.
But would you have let it happen if it meant that you would have got donations, you would have had successful streams at that time?
No.
No, you would have tried your best to stop that.
It would have, I think, shook me to a point of like what aim shook me at.
Would you say that was rock bottom, right? That was
like no one was hurt. Like the fact that I always thought crazy shit happening was fun, but aim was when it was really.
Yeah.
And someone almost got like I was even thinking. I remember my thought was, if we shot someone on the street on camera, like that's up. Like I remember just going, thank God there's not footage of you murdering someone on the street on camera. Like you got lucky, Andy.
Yeah.
IRL, I fear IRL now. Look, if you do IRL, have fun, God bless.
Here's the thing. Andy has learned his lesson in a way, because we've wanted to go out and do IRL this week, but we know we can't because it's unsafe. It's not something that people really should do. You can do it a few times maybe and get away with it, but it's like playing Russian roulette, right? Eventually you will get burned going out with text-to-speech speakers on, doing IRL. And as much as people might be entertained by that, we have to draw a line somewhere for our safety and the public's safety. And that we could have made money this week doing stuff like that. We chose not to, right, Andy?
Look, the thought of money is always good. But if you're doing something that makes you happy and you're able to pay the bills, whether it be pay rent or pay for food.
Yeah.
If you're going to be selfish and want more, and you're going to risk the well-being of yourself, or God forbid, you murdering someone and hurting someone,
yeah,
it's not worth it. IRL, like Kyler, my co-host,
yeah,
he does IRL. He does it in like the safest version of like IRL, but I still watch out and go like, please don't get, you know? But he's doing it good. But I was doing it in like, are you ready for the N-word with all these people around us? And it was just like this fucking crazy shit. It was crazy. It was crazy.
What do you think about Nick Rekieta? He said what you did there was justified with the AIM stream. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, like, what I did there was, like using loopholes to get the law on my side.
Right.
Right?
So by the letter of the law, you might have been innocent, like Nick said, but really by the spirit of things, it was wrong.
And I'm glad I stayed within the legal, like, realms of what I did. But I appreciate what he has done.
Yeah.
Because he's looking at it as a lawyer. Andy, like, he is correct. He is correct.
Yeah, because Alex did get off on there was no charges. They were dropped, right?
Yes, everything.
Yeah.
Completely was, yeah.
Now, do you think that the backlash that you got from this was justified? Everybody's reaction to it? Or do you think people should have, let it go, recognized the situation you were in, it was a tough position, and forgiven you at that time? What do you think?
Well, to be honest, the backlash was the most intense thing I ever had to deal with. It was beyond what was justified.
You think so?
Especially after a certain point, it's like, I get it. Like, now I don't give a f***, because now I know how to deal with these people. Yeah. But for me, it's like, aim or whatever, it's like, I get it. Like, after 2.5, 3 years of this shit, and it's not, it was once in a blue moon. It's like every day.
Every day somebody says something.
Every day, but it's like not one, it's like, holy f***. At a certain point, it was just block.
Do you feel a little bit disappointed in Jim that he didn't just maybe tweet that it was silly, but he went to the extent of doing a full stream on it and really put you on blast? Do you feel a little disappointed in him? Because you worked with him for a lot of shows.
Yeah, he was cool to me for a long time. After the Tonka speech, I said the Tonka speech, remember?
I remember.
After Tonka didn't show up and I said the speech, as I walked out, I remember the first DM I got was from Jim. And it said, like, good job, man. Like, yeah. He was so cool. I was, like, felted by him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, ever since that time, I don't look at him the same way as I used to.
Yeah.
It was like we had such history for years.
And it's interesting.
It was so fucking, like, like, I get it, I f***ed up,
Yeah.
but you're gonna, like, that was, like, beyond a fucking smothering.
It's interesting how he picks and chooses who will receive punishment, right?
I don't know.
Because we have a dear mensch who had all sorts of embarrassing things happen. But our father, Jim, never said a thing. And I always find it interesting that he did a strow on you, but chose not to for Dick Masterson on the simp stuff, chose not to with Ethan Ralph. That's just a point I want to make. Why did you stay away the amount of time you did? Because you've always been active online. You've always had a strong presence day after day after day making videos. Why did you take such a long break after the AIM thing?
I thought after the AIM thing, it was over.
Really?
I made it back to Canada, and I was ready to be an Uber driver for the rest of my life.
Wow. You thought that was it?
I was like, this is the life I have chosen. This is the life. This is my punishment for the craziness. And I was I had acceptance of it. And then it was like, oh, dude. For 3-4 months, dude, I was like suicidal. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was like, it's over.
Walk me through what a typical day would have been like for you. Because a lot of people don't understand what you've gone through since then. Because they saw that, they shit on you for it, and there were consequences to that for you, right?
Yeah.
What was your day-to-day like? Were you sleeping all hours of the day? Did you have the energy to get up and do stuff?
Well, I'll tell you, okay, so my first idea was to get back into Uber, okay?
Yeah.
But at that point, I hadn't been paying for my car insurance before, right? Because it was like the drugs and like abandoning Canada. Like, I let all my credit go to shit, basically, right? You know, that's what you do when you're a druggie. So I make it back, and the only hope I have is I could drive.
Yeah.
Good driver. So let's get the fucking Uber going. Insurance is taking forever. I'm getting some fucking, like, you know, girl stuff, right, during this moment. It's happening. Shit's getting stressful. I'm going, it's over. Because everything that was happening at that moment was just like a slap in the face, slap in the face, slap. It's like, there's no climbing out of this fucking hole.
Yeah, man.
So there was no even thought with the internet. It was just block anyone who had anything to say. Like, you ban everyone. Yes, I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. Because I'm in my, you don't know what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm dealing with. And I remember finally the insurance is not going through, and I'm watching anime on Netflix. My parents, too, I'm living with my parents at this point, and they're just like, they understand my plight. I've already expressed it. Shit's rough right now. I'm so sorry. Like, I fucked up. And they would see me just watching anime and speedrunning. That's all I've watched. Speedrunning and anime just all day. And I started, like, thinking about these, like, thoughts of, like, jumping off the balcony.
Yeah.
And that's when it got, like, scary. Because it became, like, this, like, relief whenever I would think about it. And, you know, whenever I would try to peek out online, it'd be like, hey, man, you know? Like, this rough shit. And it was just like, you can't even, like, peek out for a second.
No, you know.
And then finally is when I went, here's my thing. Like, I remember, I forgot what it was exactly, but I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go live and just do, like, game streams and speedrun and be a and like then like just talk. And anyone trying to fuck with me, just ban them.
Yeah.
Even you ban people, you're banned for saying that. It was like the cult,
Yeah.
but just like 10 times.
Dialed to 11, like the old cult thing, yeah.
We did that, and then I just built up from there.
Yeah.
Built up from there.
So, before we have this AMA, it happened was it in Miami or was it Tampa? What city was it?
That was in Clearwater, Tampa.
Clearwater, Tampa.
Tampa,
It was Tampa. So before that, the whole reason you were in Florida to begin with was to do like IRL. You were going to do, what was it? It was like a fundraiser. You did a campaign, right?
Oh, wait, for me and Ralph?
Yeah.
We did a $5,000. It was supposed to be a show, like a reality show type thing.
Yeah.
We raised $5,000. We did the Miami stuff, and then all that happened. Now, here's the thing I want to, like, a misconception that you have said before.
Yes.
But people said, we got away with $5,000, blah, blah, blah. I refunded all that money. In fact, that was part of, like, me returning back to Mississauga and being, like, in misery because I was, like, minus, like...
$5,000.
Yeah.
Now, that $5,000, that came directly out of your account. You refunded it to everybody who contributed.
Yes. And also Ralph got over a little bit, too, on the hotel.
Well, because
I was supposed to pay him some from that, and he paid for, like, 800 or 1,000 of the hotel or something.
Yeah.
So, like, just to add in, Ralph did get over on that.
Because he didn't pay you any of the $5,000 refund fees.
No.
Right. Why is it? Because why wouldn't Ralph do streams in Miami? What was it that caused it to not work?
I don't know, like...
Well, it's in your hand right now, isn't it?
No, I'm not going to go there, though.
Well, I mean, there's a reason why you were out $5,000, Andy. And it's in your hand. It's alcohol, right?
Yeah, but, like, why would I, you know?
Well, I get it, but that's why, right? Look, I want to just briefly touch on one thing, because people asked about this a lot. What was up with that pay pig who threw the ice? Who the f*** is that guy?
To dump the ice? There was this Asian guy, I can't remember his name, but he came out and he was like throwing dollars down, like it was like buying like drinks and shit. I think he bought like, I remember he paying like $100 at the bar.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was paying some shit. But my thought was like, oh, like Ralph's fucked up, he's drunk, let's throw ice on him.
Yeah.
So we bought some ice, and then that whole situation happened.
How much did he pay to do it?
I can't remember that.
Did he get his money back?
Who?
The fan, the pay pig.
I don't know.
He was just like irrelevant, you know.
I honestly can't. Like, I wish.
Is it his biggest life achievement that he threw the ice at Ralph?
I don't know where he. Like, I have no clue. There is no part of my brain that entertains this part.
Well, this is like the speculation is like it's rife, Andy. There's a lot of speculation about this pay pig. Like, did he get this money back? Did he throw the ice? And like, ultimately, like, why did he throw like a solid block of ice at his head? Why didn't he open the ice? He was like a
phantom. He was like a phantom. He came in. It was like a ghost. He came in. I remember even, because in my mind, you throw the ice, it means open the ice bag.
Yeah.
And he threw the fucking, like, straight frozen block of ice. I get why Ralph was mad.
Yeah.
Like, Ralph has pure, like...
Well, you know, I get it, because if the ice was like
Imagine I threw
not a
ice at your
solid
head
block
when you're sleeping. You'd be like, "What the?"
Well, I know, but it's like a kind of like a dorm room prank. It was IRL and shit like that. But the thing was, like, it shouldn't have been a solid block of ice. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have been a solid block of ice.
No, not at all.
Oh man, look, a lot of people in the audience felt like they were taken advantage of, that they got ripped off, they didn't get the content that they deserved. Do you feel like they're right about that with Miami, or do you think that they weren't taken advantage of in that way? Because you did refund the money.
Well, I did refund the money, so it was sort of like an apology for the failure of it. And yeah, no, it sucks. It sucks. You know, believe me, guys, in my mind, doing something like a Miami trip where like the skits and the fucking funny screams and shit happen would be such a like pleasure to have like a memory of. And the intention was to do that, and it didn't happen, and it ended up being some crazy drama shit, which was interesting in its whole other way, you know?
Yeah.
Right, with the whole fallout at the end there. Remember at the hotel?
Well,
It was like fucking, what was that movie called with Bruce Willis? Die Hard. Like there was like a Die Hard fucking IRL, you know?
Well, you're talking about in the hotel in Miami with Ralph, and like the final moments.
It was like a boss battle. Ralph was like a boss battle.
I'm gonna wreck it! I'm gonna wreck it!
Dude, we need to just tell him to leave. To get him to leave. Dude, wait, come on. Come on. Andy, breathe.
No,
Breathe.
no, dude, I'm not living.
Breathe, man.
Well, all my shit, I want to get him out of there. I'm gonna kill him.
No.
He's frightening me.
Get in there.
Guys, come on. What's wrong with you? Come on. And just calm down.
Leave me alone!
And now I have to, I guess, jump on a train and start traveling, be a homeless person traveling around in America.
All right, let's talk about what happened last night. So, okay, you got drunk, and you could tell people that's what you remember, and we'll talk. Let's just talk it over.
So, I'd had a few drinks, and I laid down and went to sleep like you normally do. And somebody threw a shit ton of ice on me, and I woke up and I was like, "What?"
No.
And I wasn't even mad about the ice, but then people were like, "Oh, Failure and Andy are on stream talking shit about you." So I went in there. I tried to talk to you about it. I shut the door behind myself. I was like, "Let's talk about it." And then
No, you don't remember though. You went like this. You want to fight? You want to go? Twice. Now, what me and Felly were quote unquote talking shit about, all we were saying is we were disappointed, we were pissed off, was the fact that if it was really shooting and stuff, and you got so drunk that you weren't able to even
I was
stay
on South
awake.
Beach.
You left. Because
We were at a different place.
the alcohol.
But it was different for me.
The alcohol that you intake made you make poor decisions.
I'm not taking the blame for all that, no, because
You're the one. You take full blame because you were drunk, and someone said happy hour, and you went in there. That was you, 100% you. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it's pretty clear what I'm talking
You were f***ing hammered. You bit an ass to yourself. Then we're talking shit about
Dude,
you.
you were laying on the floor screaming like you were having a f***ing panic attack, like you were getting raped.
You put your hands up. You wanted to fight me, and you locked the
You
door.
literally laid on the floor and started screaming and kicking and
Because
screaming like
I was
you were
knock
having
you
some
out.
type of
Because I was
flashback.
going to knock you out.
You weren't gonna do shit.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Because you put your hands up. I had to defend
I didn't
myself
do it.
off of you
You
because
were
you were
laying on
hammered.
the floor screaming like a little girl.
Yeah, well, you were being an asshole, drunk,
So you're trying to put
alcoholic.
it all on me. Fuck off.
Yeah, all right, go. Oh, off, yeah. I'm going to take responsibility for being a drunken idiot. Huh?
What are you gonna take responsibility for? Nothing?
No, you.
I'll
Oh,
take
my fault.
responsibility.
Oh, my fault.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Please, out of my way. Please and thank you. Out of my way. Off, okay?
Walk us through this. Walk us through this. What happened?
Have you ever been in a Ralph boss battle?
A Ralph boss battle?
I have. It was like Bowser.
I've asked for it.
It was like
I can't
Bowser.
get it.
Ralph fucking got me.
Well, because a lot of people say, like, and I asked you this off the record, but I think people would want to know. You were a trained MMA guy. You were in decent shape at the time.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just kick Ralph's ass?
Guy didn't want to get arrested.
But he was, like, clearly drunk and belligerent. You wouldn't get arrested.
I didn't think of that.
No?
No.
Is it true what he said? Because you guys went for sushi the next day. He said you curled up in a ball on the floor and cried like a bitch.
No.
What happened exactly?
I just screamed in the room.
Yeah.
Ah, like a lion, like woo, like a wolf.
Like a wolf.
I just howled. I screamed.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Two more questions.
And then I tried opening the back door, and it was like a balcony. And then I'm like, I could jump over.
No.
Thank God I didn't jump, bro.
Oh.
It was like third floor. Oh, third floor is not too bad. I was out of state. Like
Ralph almost sunsetted you then.
Ralph would have murdered me.
You think so?
No, Ralph wouldn't. No.
He wouldn't do that to you, bro?
The moment he saw me scream.
Maybe if there was a bottle of... maybe if you were in between him and a bottle of Makers, then you would have got sunset.
No, to be fair, when he was like, gonna fight me, when I started screaming,
yeah.
he stopped me. He went, what the fuck? Like, this is not gonna work. Like, he pulled. Yeah. So to be, like, fair with him.
This is the #1 most asked question of any question.
Oh, no.
Why in Miami did you dye your hair purple?
Listen. I was doing stuff at that moment where it was like, do anything to be, like, entertaining. Like,
yeah.
It was like, the audience, you had control of my life. And I almost even bought a ferret at one point. Like, me, Alex, and Failure, like, we should buy, like, a ferret. Imagine having, like, a van with a ferret running around. Wouldn't that be great IRL? You know? Yeah. A ferret. And it was, like, the purple hair thing was, like, purple dragon. And then we could all dye our hair different colors. Let's go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So the question would be, why wouldn't you do it? You know?
Well, I'd give you the answer why. You guys have a very right-wing audience that's very against homosexuality. And I'll just say this, to be fair. With your hair dyed purple and Ralph dyed bright blonde, you guys look like a bunch of flaming homos.
That's too, like, come on. Like...
That's reality.
This just cornered me.
It's true though, bro. The hair was purple, right? Bro. The hair was purple, bro. I was like,
that was a corner.
I'll let you out.
That was
I'll let you out of this corner. Look. I'll let you out. Look. I want to ask you one more thing about Miami. We're out of it after this. We'll take a break. We'll take a smoke break. But
chat, don't even.
There's we've been here, what, 4 or 5 days now?
Yeah.
We've been drinking the whole time. We've been smoking the whole time. We've been working. We've been making stuff.
Yeah.
How would you compare the experience working with us to the experience in Miami?
Like, in terms of what?
Well, like in terms of, like, everybody here is also drinking. Everybody here is also high. But we're actually making the stuff every day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're trying to, like, lead me, you know?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, Andy.
You know?
A little bit, Andy.
I'll say this. This is all I'll say about that is you have been pretty, like, this guy with his ideas and his writing on, like, you know, he writes like these things, these plans, and he writes it like it's almost autistic. No offense. Yeah. He writes complete or not complete. It's like he doesn't write NA or like he literally fully writes not complete as a word. He doesn't write NC. So it's like complete. I'm like, wait, so you delete the whole word complete and then write not complete? Like,
I don't know. That sounds pretty autistic to me, buddy.
Yeah, you know, chat.
I don't know. But look, all I'll say is this, at least things are getting completed. And that's the most important thing. And I really appreciate you doing this interview and sitting down with us. You're being an excellent sport. But it's at this time we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come in with a few more questions on some different stuff. And it's going to be fantastic, folks. We'll see you. Okay, Andy, so I wanted to ask you about a guy who I think you were a big fan of. You were on his show, Red Bar. What did you think of your appearance on Red Bar, Andy?
Andy?
There we go. Finally.
I'm telling you, I don't care what comes out of this nincompoop's mouth. With his man, and by the way, I don't hate man buns. I'd wear one if you weren't such assholes.
I've been watching you for 10 years, right? I was in Florida, and I almost got someone shot on a live stream.
Didn't make sense. You're nuts.
Yeah.
And
I never said I wasn't nuts, though. Did I ever say that?
I know, but this is like, there's nuts, and then there's, dangerous. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. What if the guy did aim? What if he did aim?
The guy did aim. That guy got arrested.
Yeah, but what if he shot?
Yeah,
I'd get more super chats, more money.
Yeah, do you understand? People don't do this as a fuck up. Aim.
I do know. That's why I stopped.
Our friendship is over, and do not copy me anymore.
Well, Red Bar, I really like. Okay, I'll just answer your question. Bad. It was a bad appearance on Red Bar. But I was a big fan of him. I was. When I was doing Uber, I was listening to him all the time. Like, literally, like, I would hear his show. By the way,
yeah,
we've been drinking for a while, okay? Like, time has passed.
Okay. We're getting a bit far into the interview.
Everybody knows.
So it's getting a bit looser.
Nah, just in case people don't know. Like, honestly, like 3 hours have passed since the last segment.
Just for
and we've been drinking the whole time. So just so you know. But what was the question?
What you thought of your appearance on Red Bar, Andy?
I mean, it was meh.
It was
It was okay. Like
he just scammed you.
I like him. I get his humor though. I get his humor. Yeah. But you know what? He f***ed me or whatever, embarrassed me.
Yeah.
But he's dying now.
Yeah. What do you think of his illness, man?
No, I'm kidding.
Let's go.
No.
May he rot in hell.
No. I'm kidding. But apparently he has been ill.
Yeah.
I mean, if he died, though,
what sort of illness is it, though, Andy? Like, is it AIDS?
Well, Jesse P.S. claims he has a colostomy bag.
Is there any proof of this, though?
No.
Nah, you just made up 6 hours over shit. You know? Okay, we got a section here people are fired up for. It's about Ethan Ralph. When did you first come into contact with Ethan? How did you first get going with him?
I think it was when I was doing Warski Live.
Yeah.
At the end with JF.
Mm-hmm.
And Ethan Ralph, I heard about him, And you know, I was always down with connecting with people.
Yeah.
And I had him on the show, and I thought it was funny, and yeah.
You went from there.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people are curious. What's Ralph like behind the scenes?
He's fun. He's cool. I like him.
Yeah?
He's a fun guy. He's really cool. Really chill, like, yeah.
But why does he then keep blackmail on people and threaten them to release it?
What?
Well, like when he recorded Randbot, like him crying about his wife's miscarriage.
No.
You didn't do that?
Well, okay, if he did, that's terrible.
Well, Randbot said he did.
Fair enough.
You know?
Yeah, okay.
What about when he loaned Gator the $300 and then, like, shamed him about it? You know, like...
You're cornering me with things. It's like, okay, yeah, mistakes or whatever.
I mean, you can't defend it, but like it's one thing
to
say.
I can't defend it, but you're cornering me with it. I get why you're doing it because people want.
They want to see you answer this particular set of questions probably more than any other set of questions.
It's like, okay, I've done a lot of questionable things or things that people don't like.
Right.
If you were to ask Ralph to answer to any of my f***ed up things, Ralph would be like, it's the same type of. I think it would.
Well,
be
so
the same
he would be like, it was f***ed up. You know, he would acknowledge that it's f***ed up, right? And there'd be nothing wrong with that. So there's nothing wrong with you acknowledging when he f***ed up.
Oh no, but I never have denied that. I never denied like a up from him.
Well, I'll ask you
this. I know he would never think I would do that.
Yeah, because you guys were gonna live together for a while, right? It was gonna be you, Ralph. Was it gonna be Alex and Failure? Who was gonna be the four in the Virginia house? Or was Zoom moving in?
No. We had some thoughts of certain people moving in at first.
Yeah.
So it was like, like we had like a lot of different like options or whatever, and then me and Ralph were like, no, like we'll start with just me and you, and we'll discuss from there. So that's when we moved in.
Okay. And what was it like living with him?
It was good. I liked living with Ralph. I liked it.
He never got aggressive with you?
No. Wait, like...
Well, because we saw in Miami he got aggressive with you when he was drinking. We know he drinks a lot. So did he ever get aggressive with you when you were living with him?
We had, like, a couple of moments where, like, the drinking got out of control a little bit.
Yeah.
You know? And one of those instances led me to leaving and meeting up with Alex and Failure.
Okay. That was in Miami, though, right?
No, this was in Virginia.
Oh, it was the situation in Virginia that
We're in Virginia.
Okay.
And then,
Now, this is a question.
Me and Ralph, we had one instance that was like our blowout. Right?
Oh. What happened?
I don't want to get into it too deep. Just because it's like sort of like whatever. Like, I don't want to. And we were both in the wrong in certain ways.
Right. Well, that's how it usually always goes, you know?
Yeah, I'm not saying with any of this story that I was more on the right than Ralph. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll give him the credit.
Well, but he was still wrong, probably, to, like, press you when he's drinking and yell at you.
Yeah, but it's all, you know.
Okay. Here's one that few people asked, and it's, what happened? So you were outside with Nora, and Ralph kind of like spazzed out about it, and he thought you were banging her or something?
No.
What happened with that?
I think Cal was trying to be like crazy on the boards.
But wasn't that on stream though? Like didn't he like?
No. That was just like leaked after.
Okay, so it was leaked. It wasn't like made up though.
No.
So what happened with it?
I don't remember, like, to be honest.
You remember.
I'm too to even, like, say my memory of it, to be honest.
You didn't bang Nora.
No, of course not. No.
Did you put your hands on Nora?
Not at all.
You didn't grope her. You didn't kiss her. You weren't trying to bang her.
Of course not. No.
Was Ralph drunk at the time?
Yes.
I think that's about all we need to know. Andy, there was a particular...
No, but...
Yeah?
Go ahead. Like, what do you mean?
Oh, it's all we need to know at the time, right? Like, you weren't trying to bang Nora, right?
No, of
and
course
Ralph
not,
was drinking, so he misinterpreted you talking to her outside on the balcony as being like you were trying to fuck her. So he, like, pressed you, and then Nora had to leave with him is basically what we can infer happened, right? Without you directly saying that?
Well, you know, let's just move on.
Let's move on. That's what I was saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Last summer, there was an incident. It was a big fucking deal. She who shall not be named, Faith Vickers. Did you know about Faith before the rest of us? Or did you learn about the child bride when the rest of us did?
I think it was about the same time.
He didn't, like, confide in you, though? Like, that he was thinking
Maybe
about
a bit
this?
before that, yeah.
What did you think about that? Did you think it was a good idea?
Well, no, but, like, I'm always apprehensive with any female interaction.
Well, you have some experience to back that up, right?
What do you mean?
Well, you've had some crazy fucking bitches in your life, right? So
time
you're an expert in crazy bitchology.
Every time, and, like, this, like, to Ralph, because I love Ralph. He's honestly one of my, like he's a homie to me.
Yeah.
And to anyone who I like, if they were to bring up a certain girl, I'm always the guy who's like, I need, like, knowledge of all their movements.
Right.
Because they're always trying to f*** over dudes. So, yeah.
Right on. So, as far as all of us know, Faith Vickers got pregnant last summer. As far as you know, is Ralph the father? Is he actually the father, or is...
What do you mean?
Like, did Ralph actually get Faith pregnant? Like, is he actually the father? Or is it all just bullshit and lies that she got pregnant?
What?
Well, like, Ralph's child, I think, was born, like, 2 weeks ago. If he's the dad. Right? Like,
2 weeks ago? What do you mean?
Well, Ethan Ralph is now a father, Andy. He got Faith Vickers pregnant. Is he actually the father, or is it like halfway cock, or who's the father?
Like, what's the inference here?
No, I just want to know, like, if you know if he's actually the father, or is it like what's going on?
I think he is, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But what's your inference? Because obviously you have some sort of ulterior motive in the way you were saying that.
Well, because we just want to know if Ralph's actually the father.
He might, yes. Well, from what we know, yes.
Because, like, we wouldn't want him to be a cock. Because, like, the whole reason the sex tape was sent out in the first place is because Halfway Crook, now known as Halfway Cock, Ralph sent him the sex tape because he was saying he was banging Ralph's girl. So Ralph, in order to prove he wasn't a cock, sent the sex tape. Yeah? So, like, we don't want to, like, that's why I'm asking if he's the father or not, because we want to establish if he's a cuckold or if he was actually the father.
Ralph's not a cuckold.
Yeah, so he's the father. Like, it's that's what we're doing here.
Go.
Oh,
Ralph's my boy. And I said, like, Ralph's my boy. That's it. You can go gunk guarding. I know it's gonna be gunk guard. Sweep it up, Warski. Sweep it up. You know what? I will sweep it up for Ralph. You wanna know why?
Why?
Because he's such a fucking awesome guy. Like, Ralph is my homie. This guy, hang on.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain this.
Go on.
Ralph and I, we had this, like, fallout. The one that was around when I was living with him, right? We had this fallout. But after I make it back and I'm doing the Uber, Ralph and I talk. And And to be honest, I was a piece of shit too. I'll be honest, okay?
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I left Ralph with the rent of our apartment. Dick move.
Yeah.
And move. I did with that. But we had like a bad falling out.
Yeah.
And he understands that too. And it was sort of like a forceful, I had to go.
Yeah, but he kept some of your stuff too, didn't he?
Yeah, but I left him with like a f***ing bill too.
Yeah.
So it was almost like even, we both f***ed each other type thing.
Right.
So we had a fight about this, and then when I make it back, me and him, it was sort of like you nod, I nod, we shake each other's hands, move on from it, and it's been such a like great relationship since then. Yeah. I did the roast of Dick Masterson. I don't know if you remember that.
Right on, yeah.
Nailed it. Like I was the primo. I was the crop.
Put Dick up on the cross. Eh?
Oh, dude.
What do you think? All his like takes defending cuties and shit, man.
Like, that's too far, you know?
Oh, it's so far gone, man. Like, what a sicko.
Like, Ralph's his friend, and it's like, okay, cool, that's
I
fine.
know. And then, but like, fucking Dick hangs out with Pedo Vito and the fucking, all the Transon family. Holy fucking shit there. Holy shit.
But, yeah.
Like, do you find it at all worrying that Ralph associates with, like, Dick or Vito or Digibro or May, like, when, like, there's these allegations they're into, like, lolicon and pedophilia and stuff like that?
Nah.
Like, would you prefer he not associate with these pedophile defenders? Like...
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, you could make an easy argument about that, obviously. But I'm dealing with my own stuff, you know? And...
I just gotta ask, bro, how's the gun crease taste, bro?
Shut the f*** up.
Taste, bro? How's it taste, bro? Oh, you know?
I love Ralph, man. Like, I do.
Know.
Like, I really do, man. Like, he's such a good friend. And you know what, though? Here's the thing is, you know what? You can go, how's the gun crease taste? Or, well, he's on my, like, he would have my back, too.
Would he?
Yes.
You think?
I think in this type of situation, yeah.
Because I'm of the opinion that he really doesn't care about anyone but himself.
No, that's not true.
Because I've seen, like...
that's not true.
The ways, like, he's treated people like Gator, who are so close to him, like, berration, abuse of him.
But everyone has outbursts.
Yeah.
Everyone has outbursts. I've had outbursts. But
sometimes
what's the reason
we say for the outburst, though?
But sometimes it doesn't matter what the reason is.
It's in your hand again. It's the f***ing booze. Have you ever spoke to him and said maybe you should lay off the booze, dude?
Well, you could say booze, but you could also say, like, someone like... Crack, coke.
Xannies.
Heroin. Any drug.
Ralph doesn't do heroin.
I'm not accusing Ralph of doing any of these drugs. I don't think he does any of these drugs.
Well, he's definitely taken pills in the past.
Well, but not like as a regular thing.
Well, I mean, we've heard him shaking the pill bottle, and Gator saying, "Please stop shaking the pill bottle."
Yeah, but is that a regular thing? No.
No, I guess not. I guess Gator sorted that. You know, like, we only have evidence of it occurring a handful of times. It's not necessarily indicative of a pattern of behavior. Do you know what I mean? But it could very well be seen that way, and is by a lot of people. Look, we're going to move on from this general discussion about Ethan Ralph, because there's some tension in this conversation, you know, because I have my position on him. Everybody knows it. You have your position. Everybody knows it.
I love Ralph.
But I have to ask these questions because the people out there want to see these questions be answered by you. They're genuinely curious about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe when Ralph sees you're being put on the spot about some of this shit, maybe he actually will change his behavior. Just maybe. Here's hoping. Here's praying. But I wanted to get into some just general questions because I don't want to directly go into probably the darkest aspect of this interview that we're going to do directly. So I just wanted to ask, because it's Canada Day weekend and all, you watch hockey at all, Andy?
Not really anymore.
You used to?
Yeah, the
Leafs. When? Yeah, the Leafs. Yeah. When were you into it?
Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah. Any other sports at all?
Soccer, like the Euro Cup. Portugal, voted for Portugal.
Now, there's another question here. This is pretty, it was a requested question. How much drugs were you doing at your peak? Like peak degen? What the were you doing? Like, what was the routine? You know what I mean? And
so, I think like daily was like 3-4 grams of coke on a plate. Like, so imagine 4 grams, okay? So you're putting like powder, imagine like this, of powder. And then you mix it, you cut it with stuff.
Yeah.
And you make like a bunch of lines throughout the day. And it was that like every day. And it was expensive. Probably like 150, 200 every other day.
Whoa. You were fucking riding high, man. Riding high.
It was bad though. I hated it.
Yeah.
I remember like it was fun at first, and then at a certain point I knew it was degen. I knew I was f***ing myself up, and I was like, I need to end this. This is terrible. How could I stop? But it was like, it got me, man. Thank God I got broken from that all that state of like, I need this powder. Like, that shit. Seriously.
People have been asking, sorry. Do you think the coke's like affected you a lot? Like, have you noticed long-term side effects? Or since you've got clean, like things have kind of mostly been back the way they were?
I would say mostly back the way it was. Though, you know, there were certain like times when I was on it where you have these like really crazy extremes. These crazy like moments, you know?
Yeah.
And you sort of always remember that now in your regular regular life. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, man. It makes sense.
Or am I too?
No, it makes sense. People are asking.
No, server knows that didn't work.
People are asking, are you really moving to Portugal? Is that happening?
100%.
100%? You're saying October you'll be in Portugal?
There is a timeline, and I'm not telling people the exact time.
Because they'll f*** it up for you?
Yes.
But if we don't see you in Portugal by, say, this time next year, is it fair to say you're full of shit?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough. I think you will be there next summer,
yes,
but
yes.
If not, I'll pull it back up. I'll say he's full of shit. All right. Why did you chug the mayo, Andy?
So at that time, the Warski Live, it was felted by JF, right?
Yeah.
Everything was felted. We were going down. It was just a downhill slope at this point. We had the Mayo King on the show. And this guy would just eat
tubs of mayo.
Like mayo, like literally, like just eating mayo, like it was his job was to eat mayo. We had him on the show, and I had this mayo put on my head and stuff. And I don't think I drank the mayo. I would puke on that, I think.
Yeah. It was some crazy shit. The mayo guy, that was like a wild fucking edition of Warski Live. It feeds into the next one, which was popular. Why did you burn your nipples, Andy?
Everyone was just screaming out of control. and I was like, I'll play Anya. Two can say, you know that song?
Yeah.
And then just burn my nipples to that song.
It was Kino.
It was just, to me, it was a Kino moment. That's all it
Kino.
was Kino.
It was Kino. Are you over your VR porn addiction now, Andy?
I didn't have it for long. Like, honestly, it was fun for a bit. You go, VR porn's great.
Yeah, like...
Have you tried it?
No, I have not tried. I've not even tried any VR, man, let alone VR porn.
Oh, buddy, you don't even know.
I don't even know, man. Well, what's VR porn like, man? Like, what's it like?
It's nuts, bro. I can't... No. Like, what do you mean?
Well, like, what the is it like? Like, is it like you're f***ing right there? Like, you f***ing, like, are f***ing her? Or, like, what is it? Like, is it POV? Like, what is it?
It is POV.
Yeah.
But it's 3D. And there's depth as well.
What?
Yeah, it's, like, insane. And you're like, woohoo, buddy.
Well,
bro, I'm telling you, you'll be felt.
Well, how many times a week are you fapping VR?
None.
None now?
None.
Well, how many times are you fapping a week now?
I don't watch porn. Fapping a week?
You are so full of fucking shit.
I swear to God. Andy,
your eyes are turning brown.
What does that mean? Get out of here.
Your eyes are turning brown. It's okay.
Shut up. You just you're...
I'm just fucking with you, buddy.
I don't know. I'm not down for porn anymore.
You're fucking quit. You're saying, for real?
I swear to God. No,
for real? Like, for real?
A long time ago.
Okay.
Like, honestly, I'm on NoFap.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still jerk off, like, once every now and then. But it's like, just so I'm not going to get any wet dreams and shit.
Yeah.
The porn shit, I'm actually, like...
You just fap into your imagination or your girlfriend or whatever?
Shit like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, there's no using pornograph. Like, porn for me is, I looked a lot into, have you seen, never mind. I forgot.
Okay. Guy by the name of WZ to Plant on Twitter asks, how does cocaine feel, Andy? How does cocaine feel?
It was great the first time.
It was probably great every time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, like, how does it feel? Like, what does it make you feel like when you do a line?
You, like, imagine a Red Bull, okay?
Yeah.
But taking a Red Bull in 1 millisecond. It's just like, yo, right? You know? And the taste in the nose, it's like this nice, sweet, I like
fruity.
It's fruity, it's chemically.
Yeah.
It's like a chemical, and it like wakes you up each sniff. Each puff of the sniff in your nose brings you up to the next level.
Yeah.
Next level.
Okay.
Next level.
Here's one from Maxwell Superfly on Twitter. He goes, this is a weird and long question. I've always wondered about when Andy went on the Drunken Peasants podcast. It was weird and awkward because he pretended to know about the Drunken Peasants lore. He asked, do you like T.J. Kirk? Are you an atheist? And do you like Brett Keane?
What the... There's too much lore behind this.
The Drunken Peasant stuff?
But behind everything. This is like a whole podcast worth. I liked Amazing Atheist.
Yep.
He did make me atheist from a Christian.
Yep. Hopefully we can turn that around.
Oh yeah, it already has. No, I'm already Christian. I believe. And but at that time it was like, oh okay, makes sense. He was a big YouTube inspiration, TJ Kirk.
Yeah.
He was. So going on Drunken Peasants was like even though I had sort of like changed a little bit, it was still a good,
Yeah. What,
It ended up being a disaster though.
Yeah. Did you know, like, around the time of Kilroy that it was going to be such a big disaster? You had no idea.
I didn't I didn't look into it at all. And the minute I was like, we're banning people? Please. You know?
Yeah.
Kilroy was doomed to start.
It was doomed, and it ended up just Matt Jarbo in the ball pit, just Jarbo in a fucking big ball pit for nobody. Would you ever, in the future, revisit Francesca Ramsey? Was a question from the...
No.
You wouldn't go back with Francesca?
No.
Give us a little bit of the lore about the meeting with Francesca. Like, she told you everything was going to be cool. You guys were going to be like a team.
I made a good video on that too.
Yeah. What ended up happening? Like, did she ever explain her, like, because she just
No.
screwed you, right?
It was just pure screwage. And it was like a take back.
It was,
it was
an
cool.
Indian giver, a Tonka giver.
Yes.
She was a Tonka giver.
She's now doing the iCarly reboot.
Oh, yeah. That's right. She's the writer. No wonder they're all black in it.
Executive producer.
Oh, executive producer. No wonder they're all black in it. We got a question in the chat. Can you explain the tattoos on your hands and like what it represents?
Yeah, sure. So the tattoos were supposed to be like wherever I moved to.
Right on.
So the middle finger and the index. No, this one sucks here. But it's Canada, like the Canadian flag and the CN Tower. Right?
Yeah.
No, I also lived in Miami for a bit.
Yeah.
Which is the palm tree. Tampa, Clearwater was the lightning bolt. It's Tampa. And then Orlando
is the Mickey Mouse, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why
the
I got
lightning bolt for Tampa?
The hockey.
Is that what that's for? Or is there another reason you have that tattoo?
Why?
Well, I think his name is Corey. Did he have anything to do with that tattoo?
No.
Because at the time you were like still tight with Corey, right?
No, this is not a Zoom tattoo.
Is it not? Because a lot of people have speculated over the years it's not. That's why I asked you if you were into hockey. You weren't the last 5 years, so I'm just surprised you'd get the Tampa Bay Lightning logo.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Because you haven't been into hockey you weren't into hockey at the time?
No, but it was because it made the most sense for the logo.
Okay.
As the tattoo.
That makes sense. All right. We got one here that, did you flag down Say No to Gino?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Why?
Him. Okay, so Say No, he's always been with me, right?
Right.
But his post that I flagged down, and when you say flag down, what does that mean?
Well, did you report it with the flag button on YouTube?
No.
How did it come down then?
DMCA.
Okay, what was the DMCA for? What did he?
A straight download and upload.
So he just he took. What did he take? What did he take?
He took the liberal rep. I think a Franny thing.
Yeah.
But he re-uploaded my content.
Right.
Start to finish.
How long was it?
Like the 6 minute, 7 minute videos.
6, 7 minutes. Did he do anything transformative with it?
No, it was like a download and an upload.
Was it the same title as you used?
No.
What was the title?
I can't remember.
Did that make it transformative though?
No.
Because Sargon won a court case on this, right? Where, what's her name? Akilah Hughes? Because Sargon stole one of Akilah's videos, put it up. She copyright struck it down. Sargon took her to court, and the court ruled that because he changed the title and it was uploaded on Sargon's channel, therefore it was transformative, right? So it probably was transformative.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
It was only 6 minutes, though.
No, yeah. I don't remember the details.
I don't either. I don't know the situation, but I've had the guy come to me and say, you know, you won't ask Andy about this, you won't ask Andy about this, so I want to, you know.
He DMCA'd me on his own, his own content. Make some content. Do something, Gino. You know what, I liked Gino for a while.
Fair enough.
Make something. Like impress me.
I haven't seen
look at those videos
from Gino in probably a year.
Well, look at those videos of people who have went after me. It's like Omegion or Hi, I Think I'm Real. Those videos are still like visible.
Yeah, they're transformative.
You want to know why? Because because I can't DMCA them because I've seen that like parts of them and I go, well, they're pwning me. They're owning me here. They're felting. I'm felted in these videos. Say no to Gino, I have to feel bad. I DMCA'd, and when I'm DMCAing, I'm putting in my name and all my info.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you're going to know it was me. I wasn't ashamed of it at all. I'm going to feel ashamed that you downloaded my 6 minutes. Oh, but you're just being a piece of shit. You're just using the... Yes. Suck my dick. I'm making life hard for you? I get to do it, and I get to get away with it.
He's getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with it, Andy.
You have to.
Andy, you can't keep getting away with it. Poor Gino. How is he going to survive without his ad revenue, Andy?
Sorry.
That's okay, man. That's okay.
No, you stayed on camera.
But if he chills and he's just saying, I'm not going to bug you. Just don't bug me.
Now, this one kind of concerns me personally. It's a little bit related to the last one. Last summer, myself, Josh Moon, and Godwinson did a stream of Ethan Ralph's Patreon content on DLive, which he DMCA claimed. We did do commentary over it. We were making fun of it. Do you agree with his decision to flag it down? Because he said 10 out of 10 he'd do it again.
Well, I don't know. No.
You wouldn't agree with that.
No, but...
I mean, obviously not, right?
Like, but I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna,
I think there is, Andy, there is a difference between somebody who just literally steals somebody's shit for no fucking reason, puts it up, and, tries to monetize other people's shit. I think there's a difference between that and somebody who's, trying to make fun of you and use the content to make fun of somebody. And I think the one should be protected when people are giving commentary. The other should not. That's my position on it. But a lot of people today seem to, we remember Mundane Matt and all the shit that he took. And now it seems like today we're going way in the opposite direction where we're way too loose in accepting flagging. What do you think, Andy?
I don't know anything about that.
No, that's all right.
I don't know anything about
it's
that.
All right, man. It's all right. We're going to go into a segment here. Okay. You did a stream where the purpose was to expose pedophiles.
Yes.
Tell us about that. Walk us through the process. Everybody has their opinion on it. Tell us, Andy, what happened.
Please give Senpai Cumbucket all the head pats. You got the first one. She edits them before, so no one has the uncensored except for her. But I don't know, someone might have them. They look at Daddy's Girl. Okay, yep, there we go. Now we go back to this. Okay. Okay, I'm not going to show that. I mean, they tried censoring it, but Ralph, do you see what I'm... Yeah, but that's not gonna be. Yeah,
I wouldn't do that one. That could be a mole for all we know.
No, I'm sorry.
That could be a mole.
Yeah, it's not like an actual block on the nipple there. Yeah. I can show this, or it's so hard to tell if you're allowed to show these. Now, this person, she is 15, Ralph.
Let me see. Oh.
That's like
15, 17, almost 18K followers. Cash Me app linked right there in the description.
Do you think I should? Oh, her Cash Me app's right there? Oh.
Yeah.
Now, I can show this, or should I block this picture right here?
I'd block it. If it's underage.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? Hang on.
Because, I mean, it's kind of just...
nude. It's not nude, but it's like...
But it's kind of encouraging it, yeah.
Yeah, so let me go to... I'll do a snip here. So these guys...
Why have I never heard of this person before? Looking through, she's quite the catalog here. How have I never seen this kid? I'm kind of disappointed in myself at this point. We have to watch another one. I mean, somebody else would replace Ralph with her. I mean, I would be out of a job quick if she was the host. I mean, it would be over. I mean, I know she's not of drinking age, so she probably won't be able to sit on here and get drunk, but I don't think she needs alcohol. Maybe give her a, this child might be all right for some time to come. If you're talking about her compared to Sargon, I mean, this kid's a legend. I don't give a who's writing it. She's delivering it. It's not my kid. I think it's funny. I mean, I think you guys know me well enough to know that I would bring her on the show, right? I don't know if that's bad. They're saying she wants on. Here we go. There's the tweet right there. I said follow back so I can DM. And we'll see. Oh, God. You're the youngest guest in Killstream history, too. Could I say that? Now, and before you go, one thing. So I watched your videos. They're a little spicy. Well, you're the Killstream kid, then. She did one on, and she got on. I mean, she's 14. Her parents know. She's already got a channel with 800,000 subscribers. I don't have a problem with that. We were grooming her. Yeah, I'm gonna be the one to say I think she's pretty.
Straight from you, what happened? You and Ralph did the stream together.
So, I was in contact with a bunch of people, a task force, per se. Okay?
Not from the FBI, though. Not an FBI task force.
No, it was something like YouTube task force.
Yeah.
There was a porn star involved. There was like a bunch of people.
Not a child porn star, though.
No, this is like a regular porn star was involved. A regular. I was trying to remember her name, I couldn't. Anyway, so these people, when I was like talking with them, it was what, like, you know, when you just come across a new group of people, you're on Discord, and it turns out that they find out about this, you know, pedophile network.
Yeah.
This group, okay? And how it works is they have a bunch of Instagrams. And the Instagrams have the picture of the girls on the Instagrams is like younger girls, but they're not naked or anything. It's just like them in like, I guess like dresses or whatever. All right? Or tank tops.
So it was revealing clothing.
Revealing clothing, yes.
How revealing?
Not nudity like at all, but it was like tank tops.
Right.
It was like if you could bring your mind there, it could be considered like revealing, but it wasn't revealing.
Okay, but if it wasn't revealing, why were you exposing it then?
Because these had links, right? These had links to message them.
Okay.
And this was to get apparently this like underage porn, basically.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay, so it was like these were like an advertisement. These girls were putting these lewds out there as an advertisement, and people were going to come and pay them money for full-on nudes or child porn.
Wink, winks. Like
a wink, wink, nudge, nudge thing, and you recognized that.
Yeah. Well, this task force was doing this like whole situation, and they found these like 10 Instagram girls that were in this like group. So we knew it was like a group of people. Now they weren't doing anything about it. Okay, there was this one British girl. Okay, but this British girl and I were in contact with each other the entire time. She ended up downloading all the like whatever was in those like folders from the Instagram. She's like, I have access to it.
So she downloaded the images to her computer.
Whatever they were.
These lewd images of minors. This British woman on the task force, she was the one who had them on her computer.
Yes.
Okay.
So she was like, do you want me to send them to you? And I said no. If you watch the video, the whole stream,
right,
you'll see exactly what I do here.
Okay.
She ended up sharing her like desktop or whatever, and opened the folder they were in.
Right.
Because I didn't want any of that being sent to me. So people will say, Andy shared CP on stream. I did not receive that. That's what the British girl had on her task force.
Okay.
That she also passed into the authorities as well.
Yes. So
she did give it.
So
to
she
the
was
authorities.
running the OBS for the show.
No, she had recorded that in like a separate thing and sent it to me, and I played it as a video.
How did she send it to you?
She recorded her screen. Like she used OBS on her own desktop.
Right.
That recorded the folder. And it showed the folder, so it was like a 10-second video.
And then that video was sent to you.
So it's a 10-second video of her screen showing it.
So that
Watch the screen.
Right.
Like, rewatch the stream, and I made sure that I was like, guys, this is what I'm doing, because I don't want any of this shit sent to me at all. If you can show the exact second I showed CP, please send it to me. Because that's not possible.
I remember one clip from the stream, the clip that kind of gets passed around a lot, is Ralph is like asking you think this is okay to show on screen? And then you guys are discussing whether or not this is okay to show on screen.
Now, I'll say what that was.
Yeah.
What that was the Instagrams, okay? So this is aside from this British girl who had this folder of CP, okay?
Okay.
Was the Instagrams, the girls, weren't lewd or naked, but it was enough for me to be like, I'm still gonna censor it anyway.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like a 15-year-old girl, and she's wearing like a tank top. Sure, it's only a tank top, but I'm still gonna censor it just because I don't want even the thought of a person like.
Yeah, but
I was overcorrecting. It's almost like oversteering.
But it's almost like if you feel like you have to put a covering over something.
Sure, yes, yeah.
You probably shouldn't be showing it in the first place.
Sure, yes, correct.
Right.
Correct. I was doing it to show the seriousness of what is going on. For me, it's sort of like it wasn't. I know it, and that's the bad part. That's the bad part.
Yeah, I mean, we get to brass tacks about it, right? I mean, there was a financial incentive for you to do this as well, right?
Sure. You get viewers or
you
whatever.
get viewers, you get attention, you get money.
Ralph got dragged into this with the fact that people bring Ralph in this at all is bullshit.
You're saying it's your responsibility more so than his.
I would say so, yes.
Wow.
Because I had the, like, for me, okay, and here's why. You can say, wow, like Andy's like,
yeah.
The intention was we are stopping pedophiles.
Yes, that was your intention.
Like, do you think that what I just did was to, like, help them? No, it was them. And we did them. We ruined them. They had to close down all those accounts.
Did any of them get arrested, though?
No, see, that's the crazy thing. Fine.
Yes, because...
But still, yeah. I don't give a...
It's just a lot of people will look at it as, you should have called the cops because these people could still be out there victimizing children.
I'm the fucking police. I'm the Sherlock Holmes. This came to my fucking doorstep and I dealt with it how I could. I'm not the fucking Sherlock Holmes of the fucking internet.
I would agree. We would all agree.
You know
what I mean? We would all agree, man.
Or Andy didn't destroy a pedo fucking ring.
One last question.
I did not
we gotta
have
clear up.
that.
Did Augie have anything to do with this? People bring up Augie all the time.
No, Augie. I've seen people say like Augie was they act as if Augie was the one with the British girl or whatever. Like he had nothing to do with it. Like literally not even like as a sub character. He wasn't even involved. Augie, he when he hears this thing, he goes, "What the f-?" And I'm like, yeah, no. It was a friend of his. That's it.
Okay. So I think that's pretty much everything on that. So I want to start to wrap up this interview. I want to talk about the future for Andy Warski. So what are we doing in the future? What are you doing now? What projects are you working on? What's exciting in the future for Andy?
Well, Twisted Mind.
Yep.
You know, Odyssey, Twisted Mind. It's like, it reminds me of like an old radio show that you'd hear on XM, like Opie and Anthony or like Howard Stern. That's what we're doing right now. And I'm moving to Portugal, so I'm not like planning anything big. I'm like this whole thing. Like,
sorry.
I'm like, guys,
Andy, it's okay.
There's
man.
zero control left.
I know, but do you think that do you think people will forgive you for the stuff that's gone wrong in the past? Do you hope they forgive you, or do you think they will?
I hope people can forgive me, to be honest. If you can't, I get it. If you can't forgive me, I mean, I'm not gonna. What do I do? What do I do?
Because
I hope you can forgive me, in the sense of I'm a human. A lot of people don't see that, though.
A lot of people, Andy, they're not. They don't realize you're a human being, right? They can't reach out and touch you like I can touch you now, right? You're a real person. To them, you're just something on a screen, And there are a lot of people that don't recognize that you have feelings. You're a real person, right? And there's a lot of stuff out there. Like you've dealt with a lot of flack, from various trolls and stuff like that. And like, how has that affected you?
At first it was intense. At first it was annoying. But then after a while, it became so like, I was so used to it that it was like, suck my dick. I'll do whatever I want. And I just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because people, like, if they talk shit in my chat, ban you, I don't give a fuck.
But you see how banning them means you do give a fuck, though, right?
Yeah, I do.
So you're kind of getting felted. You're getting stun-locked by the chat.
How about this? I'll unban people for now.
We'll see how it goes, man. I hope that you can have, like, a wild chat.
You want to know why? You want to know why I had to ban people? You can go, I'm getting felted. No. That's not true. You're wrong.
What did they do?
when you get people in your chat and they're just being annoying and spamming, the whole chat's felt it. The whole stream's felt it.
If somebody's just spamming and being...
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I'm telling you, the people I ban, if you come in and you say one thing, it's like, I'll look at you and I'll be like, but I'm not going to ban. But the people are like, hey, man, you're hey, man. Oh. And I ban them. It's like, because they're felting my audience. My audience is trying to chat. I have people who are still critical of me, like in my chat.
Yeah.
There are like the occasional questions. I'm like, ooh, that was a crazy question.
Andy, final question. What do you think your legacy is going to be online? Like, how do you hope people remember you?
That I'm a real...
You know what? I think people might very well remember you that way. You know, Medicare said when keeping it real goes wrong. Well, you keep it real, Andy. I really appreciate your time, man. It was great getting to interview you. You were a great sport. We were pressing you a bit there, but you were a real good sport about it. And I hope everybody's enjoyed the interview. I hope we covered the questions. I think we covered the questions you guys wanted submitted, that you wanted asked. They've been answered. And hopefully Andy can put a lot of this stuff behind him. So, chat, we'll see you in the next one.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down a road where I always seem to be. And every stop I make, I see my old friend. And it ain't long till I get spun round and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow my whole world will settle down, but it ain't tomorrow, so I keep moving on. I'm down a road that never seems to end, full of track lines and rails and lies around each bend. So if you're gonna join me for a while, better grab your hat. You know I live like that kind of hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. It ain't tomorrow, so this old world's still my home.